orders and 38 cancellations. Jet deliveries have fallen to 44 on a month-over-month basis versus 53 in October. So month-over-month declines here in jet deliveries. Net new orders coming in at 126 for November for the Boeing companies. We send you over to the midday.
All right, let's do
this thing.
Boom! Greetings and salutations, beautiful people. Welcome to the Midday Show. Not that guy, this guy. It's your boy Joey Options, and I'm Sharif.
I can see how you can mix us up.
Yeah, well,
Same
I mean,
shirt,
you guys
obviously.
got the same color shirt on. People
Yeah.
need to know, Joey. All right, man, let's see who's in the chat. All right, we got Blackhawk JP. We got Sean Riff J. Job I Neil. All right, man. Duran Gordon. We got Lee the Conductor and Goldie Isaac. Shout out to Tisman. Shout out to Max Trading. Jody. She's ready for her cup of Joe.
We get it.
All right, Tismail. We got Super No. Yes, we got KC 526. We got other Zinks. We got Jameson. Papacito is joining us from Israel. We got D. Westermeyer from the Great Plains or the Midwest of the United States. We got Greg S. Jesus. We got, who else, man? We got Ricky Trades. We got William. We got Jay Coingy. Peter Zed is in the house. We got New York Fat Cap Club 8034. We got Yannick the OG. Shout out to Cheese World and Rollaflakes. Gile Press. And one more here. We got Ronaldo, says Sharif and Joe, I lied, Joey. Ooh. We got Dexter Smith, 2566.
Smith.
Good morning to everyone.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. I hope everyone had a fantastic day yesterday and a good start to this morning. But enough is enough. Let's get right into some of this trading here, guys, and see what we got going on for today's session. Yes. Had to be keeping an eye out on NVDA. Definitely choppy throughout the first hour and a bit, guys. So I took a couple attempts on this and I'm like, all right, yeah, let's get rid of this name right now until it finds a direction, which it currently is, but it's a nice, steady, slow grind higher. Attempt number 1, risking 50 cents. We get that move, and I only take about 5% off, and then we get stopped out break even. And then we get that second attempt right here at the push for the break of the volume weighted average price. Same narrative, guys. 184.70. We're out at 35, so I was giving it 20 cents. I got out a little bit prematurely, and I'm happy to do so because it would have stopped me out. So that's what we had on NVDA. Now let's take a look at some SMR. Now it's important to keep risk measures in place. 10 cents here, so you can see that we're in at 12s. We get out when we're supposed to at 02. Same thing here, we're in at 80s, and then we get out at 70s. So essentially I lost 20 cents. But you have to take into consideration right here that I'm in at 75 and I go up to 40s. So that's over a 5-to-1 right there on SMR on that trade, just risking down to 65. I'm still sitting in this. I literally have 3% of the position remaining. I had 10% at this point. I cut it in half, left the 5 remaining for a runner, and sure enough, we're starting to cook up a little in SMR, my friend.
You're a winner.
He's a runner.
All right, guys. There's a whole lot going in the world of small cap gappers. There's a lot of halters today, so let's get right down to work. TGL, big boy mover, more expensive, trading at around 23 bucks, give or take. It's moving crazy. It was just at 22.14. It just rocketed up to 24. So it's moving very aggressively. It's up 17 and change. Be on the lookout for this one. TGL, the ticker. Below that one, bottom left of your screen, this one was a big mover yesterday at 4:30 and a big mover again today, a multiple halter. AFJK, Afrojack. I'm calling this one Afrojack. AFJK, $25 on the dot high at day. It is halted now to the upside, 21.72. This will be a 10-minute halt. And look, even though this one did halt down on that candle at 10.50, it still held trend in the sense that it's still holding the 10 EMA on the 5. So we're going to have to trade this one carefully if it's warranted. We're going to be keeping a close eye here on Afrojack. OCG also catching a bit of a bid, off the 10 EMA on the 5 at 4. I want to say mid 30s, rocketing back up into the 4 low 60s right now. This one is suffering from a downtrend though, and has been since around 11:15. That topping, I don't want to call it a topping tail candle, but that green candle at 10:45. Every subsequent candle after that has a lower high as well as a lower low. So OCG, I do like volume weighted average price, which is 4.25. But if it loses VWAP, I'm really looking at that 375. Look at that flat top break in the pre at that 375 area. Many topping tail candles into that level, and really wasn't able to shake that $0.75. Alas, it is far higher now with a 545 high. I'm talking, of course, about OCG. TGL is rocketing into 25 bucks. This thing's crazy. IBIO lost the volume weighted average price. It's setting up possibly here for a head and shoulders pattern. I'll have nothing to do with this one. Let's keep an eye out though on FLWS. Look, you're not getting much in the way of a big move. It is a 377 low with a 446 high, but what you are getting is a very predictable, at least for now, uptrend. Every single move into the 10 EMA has been bought. Even when you get big downsized candles like the one we got at 10.05, it's bought up aggressively and right off the 10 EMA. I'll be keeping an eye on this one. And then this one started moving crazy when we started the show. CYPH, topping tail candle into $1.57. It is on the way down now. I want to see what it does between $1.35 to $1.37. That's where the 10 EMA and the VWAP are. If it loses those levels, it loses me as a trader, so we're going to keep an eye out on that. But as you can see there on the position board, we are in a position and we are taking it up to the freaking high side. Give me my money, man. 166. There's the breakout there. We take that 150 right off the 20. Here's 170, Joey. We're going to halt, Joey. Oh, no. We're going to halt at 170, guys. Here we go. NCPL up a light and easy and not so big of a deal. 158%. We need a couple of more seconds, and there's the gray out. We are now halted to the upside on NCPL. Caught this one at $1.50. Let's see what this one's got, Joey. High of the day on NCPL.
Right on.
$1.86.
Oh, let's go. Yeah, man. Goreb also messaged me on X Street saying he was riding. He was in LA for the week. He was riding in Waymos throughout the duration of his trip. Said it was smooth, felt comfortable, relatively safe. So shout out to you, Goreb.
Nice, Goreb. I want to hear more about that.
Yeah, and thanks for telling us about that. 110%. All right, guys, let's go new scale power here, man. We're short this, and we're gonna take a short on the market, seeing what Katina Man's up to. If it breaks the top, then we'll get out of that. We're gonna start relatively slow. But what I'm looking at here this morning, Rusty Dutch is like, oh my days, hell is frozen over. Joe wasn't trading IBIT today. I'm like, bro, it wasn't even on my radar. I didn't even think about it, to be honest with you. And putting in a stellar session, a couple dollars here on IBIT. And then now we're having some topping tail signals in the overall market. That's what's making me get involved with this move potentially to the downside in the TQs. But we have to take into consideration the nice steady channel to the top side. I like what Katina Man was saying. He's like, yeah, just boring markets typically tend to grind higher. Why? There's no fear, right? VIX is cool, VIX cooling down, and then now we're just forming this channel to the top side in the TQQQs and obviously with the Nasdaq, but a new high of the day in IBIT, so not too bad. Let's see if we can get this short to work for us on the TQs. If not, we take a small L, keeping those risk measures in place, and there goes SMR right back to the top end here, guys. Let's see if we can break this 2140. I'll post up at 42s to see if we can get some. I only have a couple outs left, ladies and gentlemen. Otherwise, yeah, I mean, it's not too bad of a trade whatsoever. I was telling Sharif, we took a couple hits this morning, but just due to the fact of sticking to the risk to reward, keeping your stops exactly where they need to be allows you to stay in the game significantly longer and be able to put on the trades. When you see something, you're like, that's it, and I need to take it. And that's what we fell into. Hypercube. I've been using Waymo a little in LA. Right now, there is a much longer wait for pickup, and they don't drive you. You walk to pickup point. Fair enough. Yeah, that's a valid point. I'm sure things will change. A lot of demand for these things. People want to ride in them and see what it's like. But Sharif, what do you got for me?
We got to show that video I sent you earlier. But Joey, with just one stock, 3D Capital, you get exposure to 60 plus early stage plays in AI, blockchain, biotech, and much more. It's led by a CEO whose last deal returned 150x, guys. 3D trades under IDK on the Canadian Stock Exchange, the CSE, and under IDKFF on the OTC markets in the US. Subscribe to their YouTube channel for exclusive interviews and deep dives. 45s. And you could win $1,000. This is your ETF for early stage innovation. Shout out to 3D Capital. That sounds like a hell of an idea there. I like that, man.
Absolutely.
I like that. The dude returned 150 times. I could get behind that.
I gotta call this guy. Hold on, sorry, Sharif.
Go ahead,
1 second,
Joey.
brother.
Go ahead,
Bang.
brother.
Oh, Assassino, you missed it. 2 more fills right there. We posted at 43s and at 45s, and we caught that fill on SMR. Might get stopped out of the TQs here, guys, as it's heading towards the HO.
All right, first things first. We're halted here on NCPL. The halt time, 108.58. So essentially 109. We add 5 minutes onto that. That's 114. It is 112.45 right now. So we still have another minute and change at the earliest before this bad boy opens. If you're a newer trader, volatility halts come in waves of 5 minutes. They can be 5, 10, 15, etc. Okay? So we're going to keep an eye out on this one. Now, I just made my, oh, whoa. What's happening over here, Joey? This thing's panicking. I'm panicking. All right, here's the deal. AFJK is halted to the upside again, 25.84. Ironically enough, we're still below yesterday's pre-market high, which is a little above 29. It is 29.20. We're halted at 25.84. It's holding trend. It's insanely spready. Very dangerous to trade with size. If you're going to trade this, please have a plan, okay? But we're going to keep an eye here on AFJK, which I'm lovingly calling AFJK. We're also keeping an eye here on OCG, catching a bit of a bid off the volume weighted average price, but I want you guys to be careful with these lower highs. Despite the fact that we got that bounce, the lower high trend is still very much intact. So keeping an eye out for that. All right, we should be a few more seconds here on NCPL. Let's see what we do. Tap is showing 179. We'll take another print there. It doesn't fill us because we hit it too early. We're going to get that. Nice. We get into 185. We're very close to the high of the day. We're still packing some more sharage over here. So let's go ahead and wait just south of that too. We're posting at 97s. What's my move that this comes down? Well, I'm looking for it to hold trend, man. It's got a buyer. I know for a fact it's got a buyer at 150 because I got in at 150 and it didn't break. So my move is going to be, let's see if we can get that 197 print. By definition, that will have to be a new high a day as we have a 94 high a day, or it comes back in, holds trend, I add more. We're in no man's land right now. So I'm packing the patience over here on NCPL. TGL, I want to load this one up as well. OCG, we're going to leave that one there. TGL, I promise I'll get to ASST. I promised somebody in the chat I'd cover that. Just give me a second. TGL is all sorts of insane. This is the one that I mentioned has a very wide spread, 74, 55 is now on the bid, and it's about 50 pennies now. I've seen it wider. I've seen it $1.25. So it's still holding trend, ironically enough, at the 10 EMA. It's holding the 10 EMA like a glove, even with a wide spread. TGL looks like it's going to rocket back up into 25. There's 24. Could we see a little bit more here on TGL? It's a 26.50 high a day, by the way. So keep your eye out on that one. And OCG I already spoke about. And CYPH, that one is going to lose trend. So let's look at ASST now that I've covered those ones. So ASST is Strive Incorporated. It's about an $875 million market cap. And it's up like 2% on the day. So it's not really for me, but somebody asked nicely. So look, it's struggling right now at the dollar, right? A little above the dollar, a little bit below. Good news is it's taken out the aftermarket general high from yesterday at $1, okay? So if we can stay above and hold above $1, this could be a nice squeeze trade, possibly into the 10s, the 15s. But the volume really is okay for a dollar name. We're doing about, I want to say 2 million shares per 5-minute candle, give or take, in and around that level. ASST, not bad. Strive Incorporated, but certainly not for me on the day. There's just way too much stronger that's moving right now. So yeah, NCPL coming back again into that 70s, Joe.
Yep.
So here's the deal. 50, we know there's a buyer, but what if it doesn't make it back down to 50? Is there another level a little bit higher up that I could pick this up at? And immediately what screams at me is the halt level. So we were caught in an up halt here at a $1.70, and it already tested that $1.70 and then popped back up into $1.94. So I'd like to see if it comes back down into the low 70s, does it hold? a strict hold, mind you, not just a quick wick down, a strict hold and then moves back up. So I'm going to be looking at that 170. Doesn't mean I'm going to have to a resting order at that 170, but I'm going to be looking at it. If it doesn't hold 170, we'll keep an eye out on that 150. So NCPL in focus for me, Joe.
Nice. Super chat. All right, yes, pull that bad boy up. We'll take a look at that one for sure, guys. Okay, there it is. Morning, guys. What's going on with ATMC? Yeah, we'll take a look at that momentarily. There it is, guys. A 9-to-1 right there on SMR. Obviously, I'm not holding the full size, but 10 cents worth of risk. You're trading for all the way up to 21.66 here. I got stopped out of the TQs. I have no issues with that, guys. Gave that approximately, when was I in at? 90s. We got stopped out at 04, 15 cents there. No worries. We'll be able to get a better price on this. And if things do want to turn around, there we go. We get to sell it a little bit higher. But as for SMR, guys, a nice move here. Going positive on the session, almost 1/5%. I have one out left, so I could just take it out right now near the high of the day. But I wouldn't be surprised if we continue to grind higher in SMR. Let's take a look at it from a daily and see what we got going on here, guys. Essentially, when I bought this name, was right here at that breakout level of 2040 is my average price. Well, I bought some more, so it would have went up a little bit. I haven't looked at it, to be honest with you, but starting to climb back. So I'm thinking maybe we get into that ABCD type pattern, leg 1A, B consolidation, and then we take that CD to the top, CD lamb to the top side, take the top off the defense there, Shreve, if people are looking to play a little bit there at 23.34. So SMR continuing to grind high. I don't know why my trusty tool is up. Yeah, so I mean, 21.58.
We got to answer the super chat though, brother.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I totally forgot about it.
So here's the information, guys. So ATMC is halted at 93.01, and it's more information being requested by the Nasdaq. So this is a halt pending news, which is fundamentally different than a volatility halt. We will not know when this one will open. When we have a volatility halt, we know the wave, they come in waves of 5 minutes, right? So if it's not 5, it's 10. If it's not 10, it's 15, etc. This one we have no idea, but it was halted at 8:25 a.m. Halt pending news for information requested by the Nasdaq, which came in at 8:25. Just wanted to let you know that's ATMC, which is up, Joseph. You want to guess how much?
150%.
Keep going, baby.
300%.
Keep going.
500.
496.22.
Ooh, close.
You're real close there.
Third time's a charm.
Third time's a charm,
Third
Joey.
time's a charm, baby. And there goes SMR. We'll look for that move. Maybe we'll just take it out. If we can get to 21.75, we'll take that last little bit out there. But we are not going to complain whatsoever about this trade. I'm still going to look to take a move back in towards the volume weighted average price on the Qs if we can get it. See, the thing is, though, NVDA is lagging. If we do get somewhat of a bid Sharif on this, we punch through some key support or resistance levels that were prior support, then watch out. We can get rocking and rolling. It was climbing in the post market yesterday, guys. I'm like, what the heliante is this thing? Yeah, I'm like, what the heliante is this thing doing? Boom, off to the races, all the way up to 191. We'll pull up the... What was that?
I don't know. What happened,
but how come I've heard that before?
I don't know.
Oh, okay, all right.
I think you're hearing things, bro.
I might be, man.
I thought I was old.
Oh, I know. Listen, I have to repeat myself, and I'm always like, huh?
Bro, that is my biggest pet peeve.
Pardon?
And my old man, God love him, he's losing his hearing, bro. And I have to repeat things a zillion times. I ask God every day for more patience.
Hey, man, tell me, he has earbuds. Don't those things kind of work as someone? Maybe not. I don't know. I'm just talking out the wazoo here, Shreve. All right, let's take one more. Let's take more attempt. I'm all over the map here, but 190, guys, 145,000 open contracts. That's going to be your supply zone. You can see that we have not had the ability to breach that on today's intraday session. We tap into 190 yesterday, and then we sell off. So I am looking at this specific level as a supply zone, Shreve.
All right, man. We added into NCPL over here. We got 68s on. It's showing me 71, 72. It just popped up into 77s where I actually have my order. It didn't cross, so we didn't get the print. I put my stop at 64s, but I think that I should be putting it at prior bar low. Prior bar low takes to 67. I mean, potato, potato. I'll keep my eye out on that. But guys, CYPH is going. Okay, so this one was a bit of a reverter. It popped up into 57, lost VWAP into 35, but is quick to regain that. albeit on a lower volume profile. So we're not doing the same amount of volume we were before. We're also above that closing print at 47s. We're above the 50 penny area, psychological resistance, CYPH, a new mover, guys, breaking out generally at around 1045 or so. So this one really wasn't doing a whole lot in the pre or any other time. So let's keep an eye out on that. Separately, I'm keeping an eye on OCG. I feel like it might have broken trend here with the lower lows. Sorry, excuse me, the lower highs. But it is at that very critical area of $5. That is a key psychological area of resistance. So you can see these two candles have rejected 5. If it holds trend, I'm going to buy towards, 470, 4 low 80s for a move into 5. If it breaks above 5 and holds above 5, we'll trade it as a breakout trade and try to ride it that way. But CYPH, a few pennies now south of that high of the day. It just got into, I think 54 is 57 high a day. So we're going to have to give this one a more thorough look. TGL and AFJK still doing their thing. DGNX is going to lose its spot on the side chart any moment now. So is IBIO. And as always, guys, if there are small cap gappers moving here that I haven't mentioned, tag myself or Joe. Let us know which ones are moving, and we'll have a look at them for you. And yes, Ozan, Ram is here.
Oh.
And she was actually being nice. This morning. Can you believe it?
Yeah, I got it.
She said something nice about my TikTok video yesterday.
It's a good job.
Yeah, which is very, very unusual.
Dang.
So, there's that.
Hey, man, we'll take all the small wins we can get, for sure. That's the name of the game, man. Just accumulate all the small wins, and the next thing you know,
you never know, Joey.
You're where you never dreamed you would have been. All right, guys, so there it is. We took it out at 2160s roughly there on SMR, so we're all out of this trade, guys. Still slightly, okay, so it's just fluctuating between negative and positive. Shout out to Biggie Smalls, because that's a line from there. I'm sure Derek knows what that song is from. But now let's head over to the TQs, guys. We're on to the next one, a beautiful trade there in SMR. Let's see what we got going on. Attempt number 2, we're in at 95s, guys. Again, we get 5 cents better. We're risking to 05, so 10 cents, a little bit better of a risk to reward. I'm going to stick to the same out. I'm going to add at the break of 55.90. All right, I'm going to add at the break of 55.90. Joseph, can you take a look at Bull? Absolutely, we can take a look at Webull, my friend. Anything for you guys. Ooh, a nice
what it is, Joey.
We're going to show them right now, brother. So there it is, a nice grind higher. Man, oh man, look at this. Off of the lows there, my brother.
That looks like a great daily chart, Joe.
It's great.
I punch right away.
Listen, hey, if you're in at $8, who knows? Slowly start to grab this thing. If that level breaks, then get at it, Dodge. See you later, and we're going to find something else to trade. But there's Webull. We had SMR. We're short TQs. Let's stock and load.
Guys, there's a monster seller on NCPL at 75. It's defending generally the high 60s. But it's not breaking through that 75 penny level. New 5-minute candle open. Prior low of the 5-minute candle that just closed is 68, okay? Prior one before that, 67. There's 76 now. Can we pop up a little bit more? 77s. There's the print, Joey, but there's no continuation. We didn't get that 82. We only got 77s that drop back down. So look, the shorts are strong here, man, on NCPL. They've been holding this one down at the $0.75. There's 76 again. Let's see if we can get a price spike up into that 80 penny level. It looks like a thick trade at these levels, man. And yeah, our cost base is fundamentally different now, having got in at 50, but we did add at that 72 penny area. There's 77 again. Can we get, look, there's just a thick trade, Joe. There's a lot.
Stop saying thick, man.
It is, bro. Look at it. It's thick, bro.
You ever see during COVID, it's like stay home if you're sick, come over if you're thick?
Oh, no, I like that one. No, I like that one. Oh, wow, we're going to get bid. No, I like that one. Yeah, dude, I'm not even close to the OB innuendos, man, about backsides and stuff like that. I'm not even anywhere near that.
No.
But this is good. But it is I don't know. Now you got me self-conscious. It's a hefty trade over here at the $0.75. So here's what I'm doing, guys. I'm gonna ride prior bar low. So as I mentioned, 68 is a prior bar low. That's where the new stop goes, a penny below that, and that's kind of what we're doing there. So we're moving up the stop from 64 into 67. I won't give back too much on this trade, by the way. So we're just gonna go ahead, do some housekeeping, delete some of the older ones over there. Which one is the 67? There we go, Joey. We can take those ones off. We're good to go now. Now, TGL rocketing back up. Ooh. There's 24. We're holding, by the way, the 10 EMA on the 5 on TGL. This one can give you dollars very quickly, but can also take dollars very quickly from you. So trade it carefully, please. And then AFJK is halted to the downside. Again, I'm talking about AFJK. It is halted at 23.40. Again, though, I want to mention that it's still holding trend on AFJK. Look at this. So the continuation on the daily or on the 5-minute chart is that it's holding the 10 EMA on the 5, and it did that as well at that 10.55 candle. So we are 30.50 high now, halted down at 23.40, and the halt time, guys, 11:24:17. So the earliest we'll be open on AFJK is going to be 11:29:17. We're going to keep an eye out on this one, Joe. I got caught in a couple of halts yesterday. I don't mind, but we're going to have to set up the right way.
We'll set up the right way for sure. All right, guys, there it is in the TQs. Once it blows that 56.05 out of the top, then I'm going to get out of there and wait for an additional move. Maybe we climb up to 56.10s. We'll look to get an additional short on that one. But I told you at 55.90s, if the momentum picks up in any form, we're going to add through those ways, through that level, and then look for that momentum and the velocity to really start to pick up. SMR was the trade of the day for us. Looking at Bitcoin continuing to climb higher. NVDA doesn't know what it wants to do here on today's session just yet, so be patient on this one. The longer it grinds, I mean, we had that catalyst step into the middle of the day yesterday, and there goes the TQs. All right, come on, keep rejecting 56. Let's pull up the options chain to see if we have any high levels of open interest where we can see, hey man, this is going to be our resistance zone. We're not climbing anywhere north of that, so let's pull it up and see what we got going on. Obviously, this is going to be the 0 DTEs. What do we got at, what's the high of the day roughly there, Sharif? 625.29. All right, so 625, we got 11,500. So a little bit of a supply zone right there, guys. So not too bad. And then we want to go to the expiration cycle, the end of the day, 625, 15,000. So you can see that is going to be the largest amount of open interest that we are currently seeing right now. So I like our chances at a potential short at these levels. Do I add a little more? No, not just yet, because it doesn't want to kind of give away. And every time it sells off, it's just immediately bid back up. So that's just still some signs of strength. And we have that upward channel. I'm going to pull up a couple of the other big boys. What's Meta been up to? All right, so some buying pressure in the lower end of this price action chart here. You can see this indecision print. Another hammer candle right there. They're not overly isolated, guys. So I'm just going to be keeping my eyes out on this. And we still have that downtrend still fully intact. There it goes, a nice little flush to the downside. Boom, maybe we add some. One thing is though, I don't want to sell into support. I would rather get it at the top end of the range. So we'll wait for an additional move higher. We'll post up. If it does crack that 90 level, consolidates, and then that's when we're going to add more shares.
All right, guys, OCG is going. I got this one wrong. Quite frankly, I thought we were making lower highs. That trend broke at 11.10. I lacked conviction on that, and I didn't take it. And now it's at the high of the day, 589. Just quickly, sorry, I got stopped out for the last remaining amount on NCPL, so we'll give back a little bit there, but we'll still stay positive on it. This one lost trend. If it comes back into the 20 where it found support twice and holds, I don't want to have a resting order at the 20, I'll get back in. But I want to mention OCG here because the breakout is still on, guys, okay? It's up 117.5%. It's very, very strong. We got multiple triple-digit winners today, whether it's AFJK or it's that other one that we're news pending, I forget the name of it. OCG is up over 100% as well. So a lot of triple-digit winners, and usually that means that the small caps are trading real nice. And quite frankly, I look at the Russ. So Russ is leading all four major averages, and it's not even close. 0.7 in the Greensville for the Russ. The next best one, the Dow, up 0.3. So it makes absolute sense that the small caps are running. Now, how we get in to OCG is going to be, I think, the trick here. I see certainly some support at 50, given that we had resistance at that 50 penny area earlier. I'm talking about the 1045 and the 1050 candle. But we're awfully close to 50 right now, with the 10 EMA on the 5 actually at $5. So I'd like to see this already losing 50 pennies here. Let's let this one set up. I want to see where this is going to find support. If it comes back into $5, fantastic. Holds up there, we'll get in. But I don't want to punch in willy-nilly at these random levels where we don't have key areas of support and resistance. I'm going to keep my eye out on there. I like what Sadie Buffalo said. Look what she said, Joey.
What'd Sadie say?
Prior bar low equals my new trend.
Come to me, please, after the desk.
I like
stuff.
that.
That's crazy.
I like that, bro. I like that.
In
Prior
honor
bar
of
low, like
of
that's how
Obi.
you show your conviction to the
Yeah,
trading.
that's exactly how you do it.
I absolutely love it.
There we go, guys. I told you I was going to add at the break of 90s. We head right into it. Getting a bounce now. I'm still risking until 03, so we're going to only give this one 10 cents. We're in about half of a risk, so a nice pop there in the overall market as Meta looks like it wants to climb a little bit higher. I'm going to give myself this regular at-bats on this one. I also obviously have to keep an eye on the big boys and what they're up to, so I'm going to switch a couple names. I mean, I have Hood up there climbing up to 140 almost on today's intraday session, so let's get that name rolling. MSFT. Yeah, we'll pull up Microsoft to see what it's up to, because if those big boys are continuing to climb higher, then I want no part in the TQ short. But we're going to go over to Adair and see what she's got in for us.
Push here for BTC right now, trading around that 93 halves level. We'll take a look at the daily. I mean, right now, still a little bit of overhead resistance potentially from last Wednesday around that 94.2 area. But let's see where things go from here now. It's pretty interesting. Some comments here from Coin Bureau investment analyst Nick Puckrin about what the rate cut and comments from Fed Chair Powell after this rate cut that we're expecting tomorrow could actually mean for crypto and also for the market as a whole. So according to this investment analyst at Coin Bureau, what Powell could do here, even if they get a rate cut, could be that he delivers a hawkish speech, sort of similar to what we saw at the last Fed meeting. So even though we get this rate cut, concerns that these rate cuts could slow going forward could lead to some concerns here in the market. Same thing that we saw happening with the last meeting. So again, that's something to be aware of, what they're calling here a hawkish rate cut. So we get the cut, but we get some indications that we might not get so much going forward. We also had lots of commentary from Kevin Hassett this morning. He is the presumptive Fed nominee for Fed chair. He basically said that he is more likely to cut rates than Powell. He's echoing a lot of previous comments there. So interesting stuff. We're going to have to wait and see if he does, in fact, become that Fed chair, or at least is nominated for the Fed chair position by U.S. President Donald Trump. But Ethereum, just to do a quick comparison here to Bitcoin, actually breaking out of its most recent level of resistance. As mentioned, BTC has yet to do that. We have to see what we do here at 94.2. Back to you.
Here we go on OCG. Boom, Joey, there's the breakout through the high of the day. We actually finished this one out, man. We got in super quick. We got in at 82s, the best print I just got there. 38s, man. OCG is on that good stuff right now, up 137%. It's got a monster breakout. The small caps are in play today, man. Here we go. Multiple triple-digit winners. OCG, one of them. And we're going to have to look to get more in, man. So, Joey, this one is all gas, no brakes. Damn. Last time I reported to you guys, the 10 EMA on the 5 was at $5. It's now at $5.33, so 5 1/3. That's how quickly the price action is developing on OCG. So strong is this one. So let's keep an eye out on OCG over here. I want to get more in. The breakout level to me is 5.5. We really haven't tested 5.5 quite yet because we didn't get far enough away from it. We got to 580s. That's 30 pennies away from 5.5. So let's see if it wants to come back in to that $0.50 area. I'm a buyer there, but I'm also in another trade, CYPH. This isn't a triple digit winner, but it's got a good chart pattern under its belt right now. Let's keep an eye out on this one. It's a 57 high. I got in at 53s. I just wet the beak at 55. We're waiting for 57s. And this one also has a tendency to have an aggressive price spike. It was a bit of a bamboozler earlier, I want to say at 5 to 11 when it had that topping tail candle, came back in. Funny enough, even though it breached VWAP and the 10 EMA on the 5 on a wick basis, it actually closed above those levels. So let's keep an eye out here on CYPH. But I don't want to take too much too quickly out of this one. This one could be one that squeezes into 2. We'll keep an eye out on that. Back to OCG we go, moving into $6 after a 636 high a day. I want to see that 5.5, guys. That's the key level of support for me. It's a former area of resistance. I want to see what it does when it comes to get tested as support. AFJK is going to halt to the upside over here. It is halted, Joey. Again, AFJK up 234%, is halted at 26.76 halt time. 11:36:23. The earliest we will be open is 11:41:23. The tap, the theoretical auction price, actually showing lower. So we're halted at 26.76. The tap is showing me 25.45. So for the moment, it's a bit of a bearish look on AFJK. We're going to keep tabs on that. Joseph Wilson.
Absolutely, guys. All right, this is going to be our final at bat, and we may strike out. So we're at 56.01. We're going to look for that move, and this is the highest, this is the most amount of shares I put on. 10 cents worth of risk, guys. Let's see if we can get a breakdown here in the overall market. I mentioned this is the last at bat, and I know, guys, not trading crypto today, surprisingly so, but guess what? We got tomorrow's session, and I'm going to be keeping my eye out on this one, 110%. It's going to be Bitcoin and ETHA. Let's see if this short comes into play with the overall market. The thing is, we had this selling, and we had Meta not necessarily participating, but looking like it wants to rebound now. We caught a couple pennies right off the gate, like 5 cents just like that, so half to one, but at the end of the day, let's go. Let's push this size. Let's stick to those risk measures. Let's keep those risk to reward ratios exactly how we want to. 0.1, we're out at 10s, so 11 cents roughly, but let's go, let's go. Look how much significantly better my pricing is now. This could just be an additional liquidity grab. I'm going to take my first out at 55.90s if we're privileged enough to get that level. Continuously being bought back up, but I like our chances of selling in a little bit. And again, guys, stick to your rules. 3-strike rule. That's what I'm at. That's what I like. The at-bats. Neil, apparently the Dodgers signed Diaz. I'm not familiar who that guy is, but my buddy mentioned it. Sounds like he might be a killer. Big-time move. Adara, what do you have for us?
Yeah, just keep an eye on Amazon. Not a big mover here, but maybe just something to be aware of. This company just putting out here an announcement that they're pushing for safe and expanded drone delivery with enhanced standards in the FAA's proposed regulations. So some AMZN drone update. Again, kind of a nothing burger, but just something to be aware of. Back to you.
Cool. Yeah, all right, guys. So, yeah, come on. So, baby, come back to the middle of the range. I think we can get the lower end of this consolidation right here. Keeping our eyes on the big boys. Nice indecision print at the high right there on IBIT as it continues to grind up to 53.28. ETHA up a whopping. I was looking at my phone there. Ethereum up 6.5%, while Bitcoin is only up half of that, guys. But, hey, this is what you got to do. Use your risk to reward, regardless if it works out or not. You don't really need to panic. Why? Because you have that fixed amount in which you know you're going to lose. And if you already know the worst case scenario, it's like what John Jones said when he was about to face, I believe it was Rampage Jackson or somebody along those lines. He's like, I just came to terms with the worst case scenario, and that's going to be getting knocked out. So if you know that your knockout is going to be a loss of X amount of dollars, what are you fearing about? Let it rock and roll. Let's ride, regardless of what happens. We're in at the right place, we're in at the right time, putting probability in.
I love how you just said that, dude. If you get the worst case scenario and you like absorb that and you're okay with it, what's left to hold you back?
What do you fear? What do you fear?
You don't fear, dude. You don't, because there's nothing holding you back. I love that example, Joseph. Yeah. Thank you for mentioning that.
No problem.
I think that's a solid thing, a solid mentality to have. All right, OCG. Look, we're in small size here for a hold of 6. If it doesn't hold 6, we're out of this. It's bouncing through it's bouncing off $6. There is a buyer for the moment. It rockets up into, I want to say, the low 20s, but it doesn't have continuation for the moment above the $0.25. Let's see what OCG has to offer. I'm waiting for a first profit taker at 33s, showing me mid-teens now, looking for a move into the 20s and then obviously into the 30s. We're going to keep a close tab on OCG. If it loses 6, it loses me. We're going in with like literally a third of the size that we went in earlier. Don't want to give too much back. What's going on, Joey?
Yes, but we hit it at the 1-to-1. We take 20% off. I took off right there, guys. Boom. Stick to your guns as the market is slowly starting to come back in. I'm going to sell. I'm going to buy back a little bit more here, guys. Nothing substantially. Oh, okay. I never got anything that I want. I'm going to wait till we get a lower price if we're fortunate enough. But just like that, I've already made back essentially what I lost on that first trade waiting for that price target and increasing the size by drastic amounts, 3 times the amount of size I had on the initial 2 entries, guys.
All right, we got stopped out at OCG, lost 6, so now we're looking at 5.5. 5.5 is the breakout level, as well as a little bit now below, or sorry, above the 10 EMA on the 5. I'm talking about the chart on OCG. I'm looking at the 10 exponential moving average on the 5-minute chart, showing me 540. I also happen to like that level for exactly this reason. Look at the top of the screen there, 550 and area resistance. So if, and that's a big if it comes down into that level, I'm gonna be a buyer. AFJK is opened and it got into 29.50, rejected 30. It's showing me 29 now. This thing is going to take out 30.50. That is the high of the day. It feels like it's going to take it out right now, but there's basically a tug of war happening between buyers and sellers in the high 20s over here, a little 29 and a little 28. Some even they sprinkle in a little 27 from time to time. So AFJK in focus right now as we try to take out that 30.50 HOD. I'm also involved in CYPH. I'm looking at getting more in, man. So we got in near the highs. I got in very small size. We're going to add at 45 and add at 40. The 10 EMA on the 5 is at 46. So I'll be adding at 46, excuse me. And the 41 penny level is the volume weighted average price. So I'm keeping a close eye here on CYPH for another move up. I'm looking for a trend continuation, though, to hold up off these levels. Joey, what's going on? What's that short doing?
It's cooking right now. Sports and Stonks got this one right.
AFJK.
AFJK.
Yeah, sorry,
is that breaking out too?
It made a new high a day.
Right,
new high a day.
We're posted up at 85s, guys. That's going to be a 2-to-1 right there for us. A little bit less than that, a 1.5 to 1. So let's go. All right, Joe gets a high 5. No, all right, thanks, man. I appreciate that. I could always use a high 5. I want to go back to my MMA references here and to what my guy Johnny Bones Jones said when Daniel Cormier said, "Hey, listen, you don't deserve this. You don't deserve anything that you've accomplished that, and I'm prepared to die doing anything to beat you." And then John Jones said, you better be.
Jeez,
he's like,
bro.
I hope you're prepared
Why
to do
would
that.
anyone mess with that guy?
He's like, I hope, he literally quoted, said, okay, I hope you're prepared to do that, and didn't say anything else, man. What a cold, stone cold.
Who's this guy? Even Drago, bro? He's going to kill him and just walk away?
Hey, man, that's
like,
the only place
I'm allowed.
That's probably the only place where you legally could and not get in trouble.
That's what I'm saying.
At the end of the day.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly. Home. There it is, guys. As the market's continuing to sell, a nice little move here to the downside in the Nasdaq street.
All right, man. AFJK is all sorts of crazy. AFJK 32.13 high a day. It's showing a halt at 32.54, guys. So if you're newer and if you're even if you're a long-time viewer, we have a new option on P8 here. So on the time and sales, on the level 2, you're going to see red rectangles that show up sporadically. And it's going to have a gateway of LULD. That stands for limit up, limit down. You're going to see it both on the bid and the ask side. So that will show you where the limit up is and the limit down. And there's another high a day, Joey, 32.54. So see that where it says limit up, limit down, 32.54. That is where we would halt. It doesn't mean if we get into that level, we're automatically going to halt. We're going to have to spend 10 seconds at that level, and that price will change as the timer starts developing. 32.87 now, not 32.54 is the limit up. So keep your eye right now on AFJK. It's 32.61 high. It's up 305%. It's all gas, no freaking brakes on this bad boy, but it'll rip your face off both ways, in a good way and in a bad way. So trade it carefully, guys. 32.87. This is continuing to go. I'm keeping my eye, of course, on CYPH. It didn't fill my dip trade there. I tried to get more at 47s, and I've got another one at 42s. Right back into 52 it goes, so we're going to keep an eye here on CYPH. OCG, we can't forget about this one. There's $6 again. Now, I'm not going to get lured into this one until this one makes the first 5-minute candle to make a new high. Since the candle at 11:30 on OCG, it's been lower high, lower high, lower high, and one more lower high. To change that trend, the current candle has to get above 621. So you could put 622, 625 as your breakout trade, whatever. That's what I'm going to keep my eye out on. OCG, I want to work back into this one, but I don't want to ride it when it's still downtrending. We need a trend change, and that, to me, based on the current technicals, comes above 622. So we're going to hold off for that, Joey.
Yeah, beautiful stuff, guys. All right, we took some more out there. I took half of my remaining positions, so we were sitting on approximately 25% right there. Again, it took three attempts. So attempt number one, we get stopped out. Attempt number two, I'm like, okay, this could be the move. We add into that when we told you guys we were going to at the break of 55.90. It just bounces back immediately. We get out at the high of the day, and then we're like, you know what? This indecision print at the highs, there's no way you're going to fake me out here today. We came ready to rock and roll and to play. So indecision print at that high. This is a big time reversal candle. I don't like seeing this, but if we do have the ability to break 624.30s, then I think there could be some more downside, and that's when we're going to hit that target around the volume weighted average price. I mean, this is the decoupling that you essentially want to see, Sharif, in Bitcoin in the overall market, right? Going oppo right now.
Complained about that this morning.
Yeah. I mean, going oppo now. Market just not really doing anything. You can see it's selling a little bit here, guys, and then we have Bitcoin just on that steady move higher, and the same with the likes of Ethereum as it's climbing up to 25.31. Some fantastic stuff in the crypto space. What do you got going on there,
OCG just took out faces. There it goes. Damn. What a breakout. I missed it, Joey. I tried 669 high a day. OCG now up 150%. But look at the insanity. Moves up into 670, dropping aggressively back into 620, Joe. That could have got a lot of people in trouble if they took the breakout trade. I was trying to get the breakout trade at 626. By the time I hit the 6, this thing was already at 69. So OCG is rocketing up here, guys. The volume is not stopping. It is doing almost 750,000 shares per 5-minute candle, and right now we got 16.25 million shares traded on the day. And this one did all but nothing, I want to say, until about 10:15. So keep your eye here on OCG, very, very strong. MF dangerous. You absolutely know that that is the case. MF, if I had put in the order quick enough, I would have been taking profits there. You know that's for a fact, but alas, we're not in the trade, and we're going to have to hope for maybe another dip trade so we can take that print at 69. Shout out to you, my man. You always make me chuckle. So OCG, breaking out, Joey, keeping an eye out on this one. Also, I want to mention that NCPL may be changing trend over here. It is holding up off the 20 again, but I don't want to be quick to jump in because we still have that very clear uninterrupted downtrend on the 1, 5, whatever you're charting. So we're going to keep an eye out on that. I'm going to look for a trend change before I jump in to NCPL. There's a lot going on today, guys. It's not just AFJK, which is halted to the upside still. It's OCG, it's NCPL, it's CYPH. There's others as well, but I haven't got into them at the moment. We're going to be keeping an eye on this one. We got a runner, the real Gary F. Cron. Say it ain't so. Weeds moving again today? Marijuana names. Let's see what the marijuana names are doing, Joey.
All right.
Oh, no. The MSOX is up 10.7. Weeds moving. Let's see if we got why. Okay, so Cron's got its own headline here. This is it, Assassino. Kronos Group subsidiary to acquire all outstanding shares of Adelar for upfront consideration of $67 million plus cash earnout of 0.5 times the normalized EBITDA in 2026 and 27. In any event, CORN is up nicely here to the tune of 16.6%, but it is the marijuana names at large. They're all up mid to high single digits. So keep your eye out on the marijuana names. I'm going to keep my eye out here on OCG, Joey, as it gets back into that 69 penny high a day. I don't know what the move is here, man. I can't punch into at these levels. I don't have, the
conviction.
No, it's not about the conviction. You know my style. I need to get in off technical levels. Yeah. I don't like punching in willy-nilly at highs. But, sometimes you just have to. And
hey, man, gotta stick to those rules, brother, and it makes you not chase. And if you were to chase, you would be more mad at yourself than probably you would be happy the fact that you that you did that. All right, guys, there goes the TQs. We're probably going to get stopped out break even. What a massive rebound in. And I told you guys the worst case scenario was that indecision print that we were seeing. And there it is. Yeah, we're at the break even there now, guys. So we got stopped out 25%, a big time rebound in the overall market as the big boys are continuously climbing higher. Microsoft going bananas right now. Here it is. Yeah, Microsoft breaking through that high of the day, a flat top break at 490s, continuing to climb. I said, watch out for that $500 level on Softy. Why? We're just following what the options chain is telling us, guys. Not rocket appliances, obviously rocket science. But anyways, I like saying the Rickyisms. But a nice key level is going to be right there around 494.72 and 500. We need that one, eh? We need to get some Trailer Park Boy animations. Maybe.
That's funny, bro.
Keep it real Canadian over here. Yeah, but other than that,
LA Nightmare's been busy, bro.
I know he's busy. Oh, you know which one we need?
Which one?
The winner, Genyo.
Oh my God! We'll get sued immediately.
Yeah,
I didn't buy anything, but a good thing I didn't buy.
Oh, we would have lost?
No, because they went up. So it's 75 million now on Lotto Max.
Today.
And 40 million. Today, I'm gonna buy.
Yeah,
I'm
gonna buy.
I just forgot last time.
Man.
I'm gonna buy two. I'm gonna buy two Lotto Max and two 649.
What do you want, American or what?
No, you get me back after. Don't worry about that.
I'll buy
I don't
the
like
next
carrying
one.
cash.
You don't like it?
Yeah.
Bro, it's like $10, man. You know,
I don't like it.
All right, you don't like it. All right, fair enough. No one likes carrying cash anymore. My buddy from the States is like, hey, man, if you could just Apple Pay me, I'd be like, brother, you're getting cash. Like, I'm not doing PayPal and all that stuff. Anyways, aside from that, guys,
he's
not
American,
too bad.
bro. How are you supposed to send him money? Venmo?
I know, like PayPal and what? Just get destroyed by fees? Like, get out of here with that garbage. All right, guys, so here it is. We'll break it down one more time for you. Attempt number 1 stopped out. Attempt number 2 starts to work for us. Never comes to our stop out. We add, boom, get stopped out there, and then we take that attempt all the way into that 55.80. So you hit that 2 to 1, but we did get stopped out. It remaining 25%. Now, as for SMR, we're going to go over the top performing sectors here later on. Up to 2170. Wow, what a monster there in SMR. New scale power, baby. What a monster on that one. But let's get into some good stuff here. And that
what are you going to get into, Joey?
The top performing sectors of the day. Sharif, leading the way is the energy sector. The boys were looking at XOM this morning, up 1.4%, and we have the financials up approximately 0.9%. Utilities sitting in that show place, that is third place for those who are not familiar, up about 0.7%. The real estate sector, guys, you're down about 1/10. Communication service, you're down about same thing, 1/10. And then the healthcare, you're down 1/3%, brother.
Man, OCG just keeps going, Joey, man. 686, there goes 650, blowing through. Wow, Joe! 744 high, it rocked up from 650 in 2 seconds, from 650 into 744. OCG's on that stuff right now. Here we go. This is very strong. I feel so stupid not having gotten into this one. This one's all gas, no brakes, man. Now we're going to look for that 650 retracement. We may not even get it, man. We may not even get it. It's so strong. OCG is rocketing up, guys. The 10 EMA is even below 6. It's at 5 mid-80s right now on OCG. That's how quickly the price action has developed on this one. NCPL, I want to mention that this one is losing trend. It's at VWAP now, but it feels like this one might be a double top. So if this loses VWAP, the shorts will be very much in control on NCPL. VWAP is at 144. I think this current bar low is like 145 or 146. So we're on the precipice of losing that level, it feels like. OCG, another high a day, Joey. It's into $8, $7.98 right now on OCG. Every time I look back at this one, it's at a new high. So yeah, the small caps, very, very much in play today. AFJK just got in to the day's high as well, into 36.13. Sorry, yeah, 36.13. Keep your eye out on that one. I'm still holding here on CYPH at that 55 penny level. There's been a seller here at 55 for a long time, so I'm hoping, or I'm anticipating, I hate to use the word hope, for a flat top break. What keeps me optimistic about a flat top break are the higher lows, with that same 55 penny level acting as a clear area of resistance. So CYPH flat top break candidate for those who are interested. I'm holding a position here, but neither of my dip trades actually filled, not the one at 47 and not the one at 42. So that's all I've got right now, Joey. I'm going to be looking for a 650, bless you, Neil, for a 650 retracement on OCG. That's a breakout level, showing 7 right now after touching 798. Let's see if it loses 7. If it comes into 650, I'm buying.
All right, good stuff, brother. Let's take a look at some of the top volume names here this morning. That we're going to start that list with, you guessed it, Jensen and Company right here. NVDA, 77.5 million shares traded on the intraday session. And then there is Confluent. We had that on the
Where's Obe when you need him,
yeah,
bro?
No, well, that's right. We put it in there. But it was on the old downgrade list, I'm pretty sure.
That's okay.
So
Hope you handle that.
Yeah, he can most definitely handle it. There goes Tesla.
I think he'd like that quite better.
Oh,
Downgrade.
yeah.
Take that bad boy short.
You'll short it right out the gate for sure. Around $18 or so, $18.81 roughly right there, and now climbing up to $20 on TSLA TQs, guys. Where I'm going to take an additional move on this, right? We're going to keep an eye on the volume profile, indecision prints around the highs for those potential moves back lower. Let's head into a lower time frame actually, because the details are key. I mentioned this, short off of this signal right here, fortunate enough to get that move, but as soon as I seen this hammer candle print at an extreme, I'm not gonna call it an extreme low, but through some support levels, boom, look at that skyrocket, and we were looking at that in real time. VOR, what are you up to? All right, VOR Biopharma, we don't play too much biotech around here. INTC Intel, oh my days, Sharif, what a hot mess we got going in Intel today, but rightfully so. The stock is more than doubled essentially from the middle of the summer, 126%. Applied Digital, Katina Man and the crew, we're talking about it. I like this name for quite some time, Sharif. I'm surprised that we're trading all the way up to $35. I never would have guessed that one. 89% from those November lows, so that's almost a double in the span of a couple of months. And what is the quantum names up to? Rigetti,
These
not
are heavy.
doing too much, brother.
There goes CYPH. I told y'all this was a flat top break candidate, and it rockets through 55 into 61 high of day. We're still holding pieces here. Let's go ahead and set up. We're going to set up now at 63, and then Ozan. Where are you, brother?
Where is he?
I don't know, but he needs to confirm what my next profit taker is gonna be. Where's my man Ozan in the chat? Shout out to him. If I had the cash cow animation, I'd be hitting it right now, but alas, I do not. So we're keeping an eye here on CYPH. Good continuation. What's my move if this doesn't rocket up, like say into the 75 penny area? Well, it's held the 10 EMA on the 5 essentially since the breakout, and I want to say there has been no lower closing print since about 1035, 1030. So my move on this one is going to be to add more into the 10 EMA, okay? That's going to be my thinking on CYPH. Let's see if this one either triggers my dip trade or gets some of my profit takers filled first. OCG's at 6.5. Okay, so this is the breakout level we were talking about. There was a whole lot of chop and churn here at 6.5. Wow, I didn't even get a chance to punch in, man. Here's 6.5, Joey. Do we get in here? There's a lot of chop and churn, and if we do get in, where do we give it to? We're going to get in smaller size here because this is an aggressive retracement. So prior bar low, that's where I'm going to get out. So that takes me to 630. So let's go ahead and see if this one's going to make another area low. If it doesn't, I'll punch in a little bit higher. So what I'm waiting for here is to see how this candle closed, 640. Okay, so let's see if it loses prior bar low. The answer is no. So let's see if we can get in a little bit over here. What do we got on? We got 55s. Let's go ahead and post something in the 60s. And then we're going to post something in the 70s, with the idea being if it loses 630, it loses me as a trader, at least on this trade. We're posting, we put in the stop. There's now a seller at the $0.50 since it lost the $0.50. We got 55s. Now we're seeing selling come in at the $0.50 over here. Uh-oh, it's dropping, Joey. If it loses at 630, we're going to get into some trouble on this one. 40 showing up. 10 EMA on the 5, by the way, is 6. So the breakout level, the support level could be at that $6. Let's see, up into 55s, looking for continuation into the 60s right now. We're getting prints into mid 50s, so there are buyers at this level, just not enough to outdo the sellers at 6.5. We got 55s on. It's showing 46. I'm going to keep my eye out on this one during the break. But for now, I'm going to have to send you to Adara for happening now. Then Neil has his lesson of the day.
What a recovery for this market. I mean, this is quite the bottoming tail candle here to open the day on the 15-minute chart. But market just keeps recovering and trying to curl higher. Now, it is worth noting we're still below the post-market highs from yesterday, but potentially ready to curl above it. Certainly some resistance here around that 625.20 area. Let's see if this ends up clearing. And it's a pretty big day for the market. We are right now like almost 24 hours away from the FOMC meeting, or the FOMC rate announcement, rather, for December of 2025. That'll be tomorrow, December 10th at 2 p.m. Eastern. We will also get the SEP, or the Summary of Economic Projections, at this time. And then, of course, at 2:30 p.m., Fed Chair Powell will deliver one of his last press conferences. Again, he will be leaving the role in May of 26. Let's talk here about NVDA and all these chips in general here. We get U.S. President Donald Trump going on Truth Social announcing that he has approved NVIDIA to send their H200 chips to China. AMD and Intel likely to receive similar approval, but Financial Times reporting, as expected, that China, or the Chinese government, will probably still limit access to these chips. Here's MSTR. We have to talk about crypto here because it's been an insane run now. To be fair, still kind of mirroring that strength off the lows for the market, but still trading very much near day highs. Let's see, much like what happens here with the market, if we can clear past these levels of resistance or just reject a little bit right now. GameStop, the earnings report everyone's waiting for. GME set to report earnings after the bell tonight around 4 p.m. Here is our earnings preview for GME. You can find it on X at TTV Research. I also have an earnings preview for Cracker Barrel, CBRL, on X at TTV Research as well. They're reporting tonight after the bell. But you know what's happening right now. We're going to thank our friends at Origenics, OGEN, because concussions demand fast solutions. NYSE-listed Origenics, or OGEN, they're developing one designed to reach the brain quickly and non-invasively. Learn more by scheduling a meeting today. And you don't have to schedule anything trying to get a lesson, because Neil's right there, and he's going to deliver his lesson of the day. And so, Neil, you want to give the people that lesson?
Thanks, Adara, but you got to deliver a few things for me for the lesson of the day here, but you should be doing that every single day. 1, make sure you hit that like and subscribe. 2, make sure you enjoy the show. 3, make sure, if you haven't, jump into the chat, engage with the community so everyone can learn and get better together, and we can have the best, continue to have the best trading community out there. But I think I heard something more today than anything. I can't remember the last time. I actually turned this on at one point and I said, I can't remember the last time the market felt like this the day before a Fed day. Like, I know sometimes we'll slow down or not have crazy volatility, but it felt a little different today. I saw more people say it's a choppy mess than, I can't even remember the last time it was a chop. And you know what's interesting is it felt like chop, right? But as Adara pointed out, that's not what it really looks like. And so, like, this is one of those days where you look at the bottoming tail wick, as Adara mentioned on the 15-minute, like, look at the market right now. This is the original bottoming tail wick. And I feel like anchoring, like if you think about the term anchoring, that first push down maybe anchors you to some weakness. But on a 15-minute, it's been all up, and it's been holding, like, the first bar low has been holding trend. And even this biggest pullback we had, now we're taking out the highs, is again, holding trend. Like holding. Channel up. I could even do you this one. Like, yeah, it's been choppy inside of a very clean uptrend. And I think sometimes when the volatility is not huge, sometimes it's like you don't see the forest for the trees. And obviously, I'm not sure this was obvious until it got to about almost like 11 o'clock that, hey, you're now breaking out some of these highs. Like, until you took out the high, I don't know that you were. And that recent dip in there, it's like, it had me thinking, like, hey, I know I missed a bunch of long trades today, so that's a bit of a fail. But the best way to think about it is once you realize that this is the game that we're playing in, or this is the arena that we're in, this is the market, this is the type of market that we're in, and some point between 10:30 and 11 o'clock, that had gotten, some people might have thought it was clear early, but it certainly was clear later on. If you're going to be not long something, make sure it looks different from this. If the market is playing in this type of a manner, channel to the upside, if you are going to be short something that is not doing that, right? So don't be short IBIT. Look at IBIT. No, don't be short IBIT. You don't want to do that. I saw some people talking about Microsoft. I mean, it's not moving a lot. So like Microsoft, has that scared you at any moment? Not really. Like right now, you wouldn't be sure. I think for most of the morning, that still looked relatively weak. But if you're going to find something, again, and most of the time I want to try to pick out things that I haven't traded, but like the example I'm using, which might not even be valid anymore, is like outside of that one wick. So the market wicks down and then trends up. Well, Intel wicks up and then has been slightly trending down. But even this is potentially breaking out. So I stuck with Intel. Why? Because it was doing something different from the market, at least. And for a while, Nvidia was. Same thing, like Nvidia goes down, it tries to come up, it rejects, the future's still going higher, it breaks trend. Now it's even joining the party, so I'm not even sure that one qualifies anymore. But if you have to sit there hunting, okay, well, if I'm determined that this is going to be a short today, well, then look for something that is not behaving like the futures, or look for a distinct sign that the futures break trend. And there were a million things out there. And I'm going to show you an example of one, because this, and again, this is, like I said, you got to be willing to stop or fail, regardless of how your day turns out. Like if you shorted all day long and are up or flat, then you had a good day, in my opinion, because the market's trending higher. That being said, that doesn't mean that you had your best day, because as the market was trying to figure itself out and it wasn't so obvious that you weren't just going to have an inside morning and then a reversal day, there were other names out there while we're gently going higher that were showing you explosion. And one of them was silver. Another one I've already shown you was IBIT. Like those were the two places where you could go to actual, doing something different type of trends. And I think a lot of times what'll happen is you do a bunch of preparation and you have your ideas out there. And if your ideas don't get blown out of the water, you get married to them, right? So if the market's not going crazy to the upside, and hey, I picked a stock that's relatively weak, great. Intel's not going anywhere. It gave you a % move up and down. But you know what? Just because it was working for me when I'm short and the market's going up, didn't mean that that was the optimal thing to be doing. You get to feel smart about it because it's like, look at me, I shorted today and it worked. Well, who the hell cares? Because silver was better if you just went long that. And you know I like silver breaking out to all-time highs. Bitcoin bounced off that 90K and is at 94. If it doesn't break the resistance level or support level, Neil, you can't go short, so why weren't you long? So you can't, again, like a lot of times it comes down to not just grading yourself on, well, whether were you green today or did you pull this off or whatever. Sometimes you've got to understand that at that point where it was getting obvious what the market was doing, what did I say to myself? First available dip on that upward trend? Look at what the first available dip was on silver. It was right here at 54.5. Do you see me execute it? No, you don't. Right in here, it dips, there's your bottoming tail candle. The way that I trade these pullbacks, there's your bottoming tail candle, closes back above the body here. There's your entry at 54.36. There's my stop at 54.24. That's 12 cents worth of risk in a way that I would normally trade it, and I can easily get 40 or 50 cent move out of it. Well, that's pretty good, except I didn't take it. And ultimately, as I said, it cannot matter that I got stopped out once on Intel, I got stopped out twice on Intel, got stopped out 3 times on Intel, but then I got enough shorts because it wouldn't break the absolute top that I'm going to be up on the stock. That doesn't matter at the end of the day. Because yeah, I got it to work, but shouldn't have had to. Because there's always, a lot of times there's something easier out there for you. And when there is something easier out there for you, it behooves you to do it. So part of being a trader is being a little bit, sometimes self-critical. It's not always about whether you were red or green, or whether you read which direction the market was going. Sometimes it's just about, did you find the trades that were the easiest for the way that you trade? And if the answer is yes, and they didn't work, fine. If the answer is no, and what you did work, that's okay, but it's not good. Because you should always be choosing the path of least resistance as a trader. What are your setups that will work the best with the least amount of risk? Regardless of whether you're green or red. If you did that, good. If you didn't do that, reevaluate. And to me, it wasn't super obvious in the first hour that we're going to have a crazy up day, but you could have found it in Bitcoin and silver with some pretty clean breakouts. So sticking with the shorts, it's not the end of the world if you caught some that worked. Don't get me wrong, but you should have, at least I should have been able to. I keep saying you, but I mean me. I should have been able to, and a lot of times it happens to all of us, been able to find those lower hanging fruit out there. Like what is moving different to the choppy mess that the market is, right? So jump from the choppy mess and jump into something which is trending if you can, because we will always have these types of days where it seems like a chop fest and nothing's going nuts. Believe me, there's always something moving. I've been trading long enough to know that. And if you can jump around and find some entries and exits in the things that are actually going, you're going to do a lot better. Whether it's small caps, whether it's, it could be crypto, it could be the metals, it could be anything. You just never know on a given day. So that chop resulted to the upside, but there were bigger plays out there. Hi-ho, Bitcoin and silver as they both go higher. 4% for silver. What a great day today. Good luck, everybody, for the rest of your trading. I can tell you, we forgot to say what was for lunch. It was like chicken thighs and pasta with like a pesto pasta salad. It was pretty good. I mean, it could have used more chicken. There wasn't really enough protein, but it tasted good at least.
There is never a situation where someone says there could have been more chicken, and I will disagree with them.
Ooh, yeah,
Never.
I don't know when was everybody like, no, it's too much chicken. I don't want it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doc, you're not going to hear that from me.
No.
Well, I could always use a little bit more protein after the peanut butter and peanut butter and whatever incident there.
Peanut butter and what the hell?
No, man, that was not acceptable, Joey. You want to bring peanut butter? You bring in number one, you bring in some jelly. You don't bring peanut butter on its own. That's number one. Number two, you throw in a little protein, man. I mean, figure it out, but it can't be, just all carbohydrates and fats.
No,
Accept that, man.
No,
Joey.
I had salmon last night, if anyone.
You got salmon. Is that the piece that Ram left you in the fridge?
Freshly bought.
It's been like 20 days there? I mean, 3 days there?
New piece. We took the old piece out, put new piece in.
Nobody bullied you, and you're the one that bullies everybody, by the way, okay? So don't try to twist things around over here.
Listen, I said we took
right, she said.
I took the old piece out, we put the new piece in. It's that simple. All right, guys, we're
It's mostly protein. They are, Stevern, but like, what's the quantity of protein in a peanut butter sandwich? What, 5-6 grams? Like, that's not gonna cut it for me.
Ratio ain't cutting treat, but what is cutting out right now is this potential, once again, another move, looking for a short on the TQs, but the big boys are continuously climbing higher. Guys, I mean, Microsoft starting to come back in a little bit. NVDA still hasn't really picked a direction. And then we're finally starting to get some cooling down in Google, which was definitely helped bring the market a little bit higher. So 56.13s, we're going to try to hold this Diamond Hands Deontay Wilder to $56.
See that statue he got of himself in his own town?
In his
hometown?
Bama?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I haven't seen that.
Yeah. Pardon me. It was like one of those, thank you, Ram. Wow, she's really nice today. It's very unusual. Nice, it's like that one that Ronaldo got. Do you remember that debacle, the one Ronaldo got? It didn't even look like him.
Is that thing still up?
I think they fixed it. Speaking of soccer, something's going on in Liverpool. Neil, I don't know if you've been following this, but the Mo Salah saga is getting crazy.
I love Mo.
He may be done with the team. It might be all over.
Really?
Yeah, they're dropping him from the Champions League. He's training on his own. He went and he made statements outside that the relationship between him and the manager is broken. The club is trying to peg him, if you believe what he says, trying to peg the blame on the club's weakness on him. And anyway, it's getting crazy. I didn't want to see it end like that. You never want like a superstar like Mo Salah to end this way with their club. It should have been, I don't know, man. I really hate it.
Did you see some of the World Cup tickets going for $111K?
Your boys got some.
I know, that's crazy. What an ROI.
I'm telling you, bro.
Are you selling them?
Absolutely. I'm going to retire off these.
Some of them are $111,000 for a ticket.
It's crazy. I don't have any playoff games, obviously, but I've got a lot of the. So the debacle was the first game was not included in the package. The first game is a price of its own. So all the games that I got are from the second onward. So it was kind of frustrating. Nobody knew that, though, until after you checked out. Then it showed you that you didn't get the first game. You had to go back and then pay like almost double for that first game because they're selling the first game as like the first World Cup game ever in Canada.
Because you got right there on those tickets, brother. Money. Yeah, big time stuff. All right, guys, let's see if we can get this short to work out. 56.13 here on the TQs. We got a penny right now. Bounced off of 56.10. almost to a T, and then now starting to climb a little bit. What's giving us a world of trouble right now is Google itself, as this thing is an absolute monster and continuing to climb higher. I might even tighten my reaction. Nah, never mind all that noise. We're going to hold on. We're going to wait for 56s here. That's going to give us approximately a 1.3 to 1 there, Sharif.
I'm being trolled in the chat by Richard. There's no playoffs in the World Cup. All right, brother.
Okay,
sorry. Knockout
brother.
stages.
Sorry, brother.
I do apologize. The round of 16.
Sorry, not sorry.
I know, like you're just like
Sorry,
constantly
not
being audited. AFJK halted to the downside. I was talking to one of the Algo boys in the back, and he was all over this, and he's up nicely on it. But you know, Joey, he was caught in a down halt.
Who, Ben or Jose?
Ben, yeah.
That's crazy.
Don't tell him. Don't tell him.
I won't tell him.
And anyway, he was caught like $24 in a down hole, and then the top flashed 10.
No.
So he panicked. He panicked. He got the hell out of that.
That would be disastrous. Yeah.
But in any event, yeah, he's up. He's still up on it. So that's all that matters, Joey. There goes what's it called? CYPH into 162. We don't get the print though, man. I'm not sure what's going on here with CYPH. I was waiting at I'm waiting at 62, but it didn't cross. Okay, I thought I chose the mid print there. In any event, I did not. OCG is losing the bid, and it is losing trend. It false broke too, and that's the thing. This one could have gotten a lot of people offside. Let me show you exactly where it all went wrong here with OCG. This candle, this topping tail candle that broke trend, held 7. What I was looking for here was the first 5-minute candle to make a new high, right? You didn't get it on this 1205 candle. Then you got it on the 1210 candle. But that's the bamboozlement that you're going to have to put up with as a small cap gapper trader, as these ones are easier to manipulate with bigger accounts. So what I mean is, I was waiting for that 707 break. Technically, it was a 703, but I was going to give it to 707. You do get that because this candle went to 729, but that trapped all the longs. And look what is happening now. The blood is in the streets for OCG. So if you punched in 710, 715, you are substantially out of the money, as we just lost 6 into 575. So the next level for me on OCG will be that 5 1/4 to 5 1/3. I say that for a couple of reasons. Firstly, the volume weighted average price at 5 1/3. Get it, SSE? No, I like that. And the breakout level as well is at that level. So look at that 1045 area resistance into 550. So I'm going to be looking to this level right here for a possible dip trade on OCG. We're going to pack our patience and see if it does make it into that level. NCPL will lose its spot on the side chart here, at least on my screens momentarily, as this one has lost the volume weighted average price. DGNX is hot garbage, so we're going to put open. You guys are yelling about open door as well as you should, because it just went Greensville on the day, and it took out that 710 seller. 710 had been a very clear area of resistance, at least into the pre-market. So open door, OPEN, looking real good over here with a 725 high, Joey. It did finish this candle as a topping tail. But most importantly, though, the current candle doesn't make a new low. It hasn't quite made a new high yet, but it doesn't make a new low. So you know that the buyers are buying this up at higher and higher levels. To me, that's good news. So we're going to keep an eye here on open door, and we'll see if we can finagle a trade into this one, but don't need to be quick to it just yet. What's his name? That Kaz Najatian guy, he's the CEO of Open Door. I follow him on X. Interesting guy. I like him obviously because he's Canadian, but the point is, he said he's going to have an announcement for homeownership for seniors next week. And anybody who's been, following the cost of living lately knows that seniors are, most of them are on fixed budgets. So some of these, the increases in rates has certainly affected them, and the inflation as well. So I want to see what he has to offer for our beloved seniors, man. We're going to put open door here on a trading screen, Joey, because it is getting bought up. So OPEN on the NQ showing 720, prior bar high 725. Let's see what we can do here. So you can take it out if it loses. If you punch in here, you can take it out at current bar low. Current bar low is at 716, 715. Prior bar low is 714. So just like right here. I'm going to punch. I'm getting into open door. If it loses 714, we've risked all of like 4 pennies. So I'm good with that. Let's go ahead and throw that there. I'm going to put 12s because, my affinity. with 13, or lack thereof, actually. So let's post here, Joey. We're going to go ahead and post, shut it to 23 in Jordan, and then we're going to take a possible profit taker above the high of the day, which is 725.
Beautiful stuff. All right, guys, here we go once again in the TQs. Out of 1-to-1, we take a little bit off. Now we're starting to climb a little bit lower. I'm looking at some of the big boys here, and the one thing that's holding us up is Google. There we go. We got the 56s with the majority of our position left. I told you we were going to try to hold on to this for as long as we can. We'll take an additional piece off right there, guys. Another big time move in the market. If there's any form of selling coming into Google, we're going to be rocking and rolling into that 55.90 level, and that's what we're going to be aiming for. So how much do I have? 65% of my position remaining, but a nice little move once again, just sticking to our guns, sticking to those risk measures, and using risk to reward ratios in our favor. All right, guys, let's get a little bit more out here maybe. Nothing substantial. All right, we got a better price at 56.01 there. So yeah, a nice move, guys. We'll wait for 55.95 to come into play if it's going to. I'll pull up our screen here and see what we got going on. So you can see that the SPY actually ran right into the volume weighted average price. We have Apple starting to come back in a little bit here. Nvidia is still doing not much, but it's the big dog over here, and that's going to be GOOGL holding up the overall market. So yeah, if we get any form of a pullback, we're going to be rocking and rolling. But what we're seeing right now, I told you we were looking at this from yesterday, 313.70. If that support level breaks, which it did breach momentarily, and then now you're slowly starting to climb back. So hopefully we don't get stopped out and Google doesn't continue to climb higher, because I like the moves that we have been getting so far in the TQQQ, because it's taken a lot of attempts. It's not the prettiest chart, that's for sure, but sticking to our risk management skills and just getting out when we're supposed to, taking profits at key levels. Now, as for anything else, if you guys want to go over any names, please put it in the chat. Open Door, yeah, we were just talking about that. Let's take a look at what Open Doors are. You're long
18s,
it?
yeah.
Oh, wow, is it breaking out here?
It's not, rocketing, Joey, like AfroJack or any of these others, but,
but dude, look at the volume on this.
It's good, man. It's good, Joey.
That's big time volume. This is what you want to see for a breakout. You're long at 718s. Yeah, not too bad. You had a nice, you weren't in it. Were you in it when you got that move
so
up to 24?
I've taken one beak wetter, but I got it to 23, didn't fill me.
Cool. Yeah, good stuff, man. This is exactly what you want to see. When we talk about looking at your volume by time profile, it's like when you're a breakout trader, you want to keep an eye on the volume. And if you see this, that's just going to give you more conviction within your setup and even potentially add more size. So a nice play right there on OPEN. Trading at 55.99 now on the TQs. Can we establish a new low? We're going to wait for 55.95s before we take anything else. So God willing, we get that. None of that hopium stuff there, Shreve. We're just going to play the technicals and see what we got going on. I have to keep my eye on Google because this thing doesn't want to stop. Another 5-minute inverted hammer candle just getting blown past, it looks like. So that is holding up nice and steady. Maybe we take a small piece out here at 99s just because for good luck.
What?
All right, yeah, can you take it over? I punched, I got to stop doing that, man. I just punched out the majority of my position. Right, I have a little bit left, but yeah, I did not mean that. As soon as I hit as soon as my finger hit the key, I knew what I did as I smashed it. Enter, and then look at it,
Millionaire?
And then look at it tank right there. I still have I'm long now? Oh my God, no, that is not good, Shreve.
All right, I'll take
that's
over,
disastrous. Go ahead, yeah.
All right, guys.
Oh my day.
Look, Open Door, topping tail candle. It's got higher lows, but not higher highs. So I'm keeping an eye out on this one. It got into 723, did not fill me. High of day, 725. The candle that made the high of day, 1210. The current candle, obviously, we're on 1220. We did make a higher high and a higher low relative to the candle at 1215. So what I'm thinking about doing is moving up, my stop into 715. It's like at 12s right now. So, there it is. Here it comes into 15. So it is losing trend. Right now, Open Door might be losing trend. The 10 EMA on the 5 is 712. That's literally where my stop is. Let me just think about this one for a second. Should I allow this? I can allow this to come down into 712. And I can add more there. Let me just watch the price action develop a little bit because it broke trend and there's two topping tail candles, meaning that shorts are getting aggressive above that 20 penny area. 725 high, current bar high though is 723 and that's why we didn't get the fill. So I'm gonna think about this one a little bit more. Let me just take a quick look here at the other trade on CYPH, still waiting for a print at 63s, nothing doing there. We're gonna pause For second, we're going with Adair at the big desk.
Just be aware here, JPM on watch as their Consumer and Community Banking CEO, Marianne Lake, speaks at the Goldman Sachs Financial Services Conference. This conference going on for the next couple of days. This Consumer and Community Banking CEO was saying that the U.S. consumer is still healthy. So again, commentary from JPM on watch to send you back up to Joe and Sharif.
All right, Joey, what do you got, brother?
Yeah, same thing. All right, guys, so we're just going to stay in calm and cool. Look at Microsoft come back in aggressively, so that helped the Nasdaq move a little bit lower. Now we just need Google. I'm out of it right now, so I'm going to have to be patient. That was a prime time entry, in my opinion. Someone was mentioning Tesla. I haven't really been looking at it. It's still steady grinding higher, starting to form this this top right here, I think, in my opinion. So the longer that we consolidate, you can see the selling pressure step in and on each individual 5-minute print. As long as you continuously see those and then you're not like climbing a steady grind higher, we'll slowly curl over and then you get that turtle shell type price action. And then that's when you can get that move a little bit lower. But see, the thing is, though, keep an eye on the volume weighted average price as it's tracking relatively tight. That's the key signal of extreme strength. And if you do get somewhat of a pullback, it's probably going to be relatively shallow. So you had 15 minutes of selling, but at the end of the day, you only drop a couple of points opposed to when we open up this morning around 437. We're now trading around 449, so that's $12 right there. So not too bad whatsoever on TSLA, guys. Market coming in. Adair, what do you have for us?
Keep an eye here in SHEL, guys. I'm seeing reports that Shell is in advanced talks to buy LLOG Exploration Offshore for more than $3 billion. So again, Shell reportedly in talks to acquire a company. Just keep an eye on it. Back to you.
There goes CYPH, Joey. Another high of day. It is 165. This is not a rocket ship, but it's a steady, I don't want to say predictable because, you know, that's just the wrong word to use here, but it's steady state, higher highs, higher lows, and most notably, the respect for the 10 exponential moving average on the 5-minute chart is just kind of hard to not notice there. Even when we were a little bit more volatile at that breakout on the retracement after the initial breakout, I'm talking about 1055.11. Look at that. It just dropped back down into the 10 EMA, holds the 10 EMA, and just like a glove makes higher highs and higher lows. CYPH, Joey, keeping my eye out on this one.
All right, guys, for too long, trading meant risking your own money or never having enough to start. The fear of losing, that's what kept so many traders on the sidelines. But that's changing. Trade the Pool is transforming how traders access the markets. With its limited risk trading model, traders use funded capital while Trade the Pool absorbs the downside. This allows traders to focus on what truly matters: discipline, consistency, and growth.
Bang.
When you hit the profit target, you keep 70% of the profits. No fear, no barriers, just real opportunity. This is the revolution of limited risk trading, powered by Trade the Pool. Visit tradethepool.com or scan the QR code now to get 10% off your first evaluation.
And that QR code, guys. Trade the Pool, man. Shout out to Money Mitch. Came in with some bangers today.
He did.
He came in with some bangers, and he came in with some naked arms.
Oh,
He's flashing the arms.
That was crazy, man.
Yeah, and then he was smack talking. Was he smack talking? I don't think he was smack talking, but indirectly so, because you know the Raps and the Heat now are
that's crazy.
Close to the table there, Joey.
That's yeah. I mean, hey, man, he's got the guts to come on the show with a Heat jersey.
Yeah, and he was front double bicep too. He did front double bicep.
Yeah, he decided to flex on us a little bit, man. Hey, he's got the warm weather and everything along those lines, so it's hard for us to kind of compete with that. Yeah, I mean, here it goes, guys. Google 316 to 317 as quick as you like. I know Sage in the chat has some options, some calls on that, so way to rock and roll on those. Let's pull up the options chain on Google and see what we got cooking up, guys, because this is a big time move here, and we got to figure this stuff out. We got to find that next supply zone where there's going to be potential. Where is it, Sharif? And we're going to figure that out right now as we do it live. There's no other way that we really do it. 325. What? By the end of the week, Sharif, 325 could be in the works. Hey, I mean, by all means, we're just going to listen on. I'm saying that that's not necessarily going to be the case, but we might have that magnet effect into that specific level and then somewhat of a rejection, because that is going to be the highest level of open interest on this expiration cycle. We can head over to December 19th, which is really important. 320, you have a little bit of supply as well, as we're starting to trade up to 317, just a little bit under it. Microsoft is tanking right now. Watch out for this neckline, guys. What's our high of the day? I was talking about 500 on On Microsoft, we got 492 right here. Let's pull it up and see what we got going on from a supply standpoint here on MSFT as we go over the Mag 7, because I think everybody's interested in those 492 fives. Not much going on there, so maybe just a technical breakdown. Didn't want to punch through the pre-market highs. We do have that supply zone right here on 500, and if we go over to that December 9th expiration cycle, no way. Okay, no, 20, okay, that's much better, 21,800. So that's 2120. So that is starting to grow a little bit there, Sri.
See this guy, he got dinged by the ref for doing push-ups after he knocked out the guy.
What did the ref do?
He didn't like it. He started giving him the Matumbo fingers, like, don't do it. He knocked him down, and you don't recover from a body shot, Joe.
They're definitely hard. That's how Garcia got.
Which Garcia?
Ryan.
Yeah, that's right.
By
of course,
Tank.
by Gervonta, yeah.
Yeah,
he looked bad with Rolly, though, but he had been drinking for a year straight.
Oh,
so
you know who's...
hopefully he does a little bit better next time.
Yeah. You know Teofimo and
Lopez, of course. You sent me that, of course. That's going to be great.
Yeah, that's going to be a good fight. I got Teofimo. I think Teofimo should win.
100%.
He's the power.
I don't really like Shakur, man.
Don't. He's Devin Haney 2.0.
Boring, man.
He's Devin Haney 2.0.
Yeah. In any event, boxing's heating up right now. I'm loving boxing right now.
Dude, I think it's December 20th, Paul versus AJ.
It's going to be great. Everybody's laughing about that. They're like, see AJ making weight too, and he's posting pictures of him in the skill because there's a stipulation in the contract, 245 max pounds. And he's already at that weight. He's already at that level. He's like, man, I'm good to go.
He has no issues with that. No. I don't understand how people can make fun of them, like AJ and Paul. Those guys are bringing home 8 figures each.
8 figures.
More like... And
I think they're just talking about it from like the
from a moral standpoint.
Not just morals, but Joey, for like the actual what's it called? The integrity of the sport, right? I don't want to say Jake Paul's not a boxer. He's a good boxer, dude.
Fighter,
he's got hands, but it's I don't know. You can't. Can you shake that YouTube moniker?
But that's the thing, right? Like put that aside, and then how are you going to kind of argue that this guy hasn't been successful in the fight world?
He's got hands. Exactly. That's just the way it is. Yeah. Open, we added to this one, we took some more out, but the problem is we're still putting in lower highs. So on the 5-minute chart, all 3 topping tail candles are lower than their predecessors. I'm talking about this one here, 1210, high of that one, 714. How about that 1220 candle? Sorry, the high of that one is 725. Then the 1220 candle, 723. And this one, 722. So we're going to have to break trend here. I'm alive to this very much so, but I also see the higher lows. So this is kind of where I'm caught in between two minds. Let's see what we can do here on open. And then you guys calling out IRBT. I did not have eyes on this one today. It was not on the initial small cap scanner list that we had put on initially, but IRBT looking real good, taking out that prior high at 370, I want to say 373, getting into 384. Let's see if it holds trend. It's only up 17.5%. I say only because these monsters today are running up triple digits. There's so many triple digit winners today, not least of which is AFJK. So that's what I'm looking at right now. I'm keeping my eye on open. I'm keeping my eye as well on CYPH, as this one did make a new high a day. 166 is the area high. It's coming back down into the 10 EMA on the 5, and I haven't added at all on CYPH. So I think I'm going to throw in a small order here to get more at 59s. Let's see if we get 59s. If we do, it'll be a small order, and this one will give me some more shareage with which to work. So we're going to keep an eye out on CYPH. We're keeping an eye out, of course, on open. And I think it's probably fair right now to say, let's take a look at IRBT, because it pulled, it just as we mentioned it pulled into the 10 EMA on the 5, and this is the 370 breakout. I'm getting in here, Joe, and if it loses, I'm going to give it a few pennies worth of risk. Yeah, so I'm long now IRBT. Let's go ahead and throw in an order for a stop at 67. If we lose, we lose. We lose 4 pennies on this one, and I'm willing to absolutely deal with that. So let's go ahead and throw that one out there, and then we'll put a first profit taker at 73. It looks like it's going to stop me out already, which is fine. You can't take shots. You can't make money unless you take shots. So that's what we're doing right now. We're long IRBT at 71. It's showing me 70. If it holds trend, fantastic. If it doesn't, I'm out. 384 high day. I'm keeping an eye as well on CYPH. I got more there as this one did pull into the 10. So now we're going to put in a stop for the new amount of shares that we have. Let's go ahead and do that. IRBT, if it loses 55, which it might right now, it loses me as a trader. Let's go ahead and throw in this one, and we're gonna put $1.53. And yeah, it feels like this one will lose pretty quickly. So this is TYPH, there we go. Gonna get that one. IRBT rocketing up, Joe. Man, so that was a good entry on that. So we get a nice move into the 10 EMA on the 5. Looking for continuation. I'm waiting at 77s. It's showing me 77s, but it's got to cross. IRBT, good dip trade off 70. Now showing 77s. Let's go ahead and wait as well. In the mid 80s, should we get that price spike up? This will be a high of day break. So 77 seller that we can't shake, and as a result, I'm not getting the second profit taker. Let's see. There it goes, Joe, into 79 now. Let's see, look for that continuation there on IRBT into 80. Shout out to my man Yannick for pointing this one out. Almost like 11 pennies in the money on IRBT, quick as you freaking like. There's 82. Can we get a little bit higher, my man? There's 84, Joey. We're going to go ahead and there it is. Oh, good trade on this one. Very pleased with IRBT. Let's let this one run. Next area we're waiting is 88s. Let's post that 88s. Oh no, that's too close to my entry now. We're gonna go ahead and with low 90s, excuse me, and then we're gonna look for a $4 move. So IRBT, all gas, no brakes right now. There's 88s, and there's a new high of day on iRobot. Good look right now on IRBT. How's that CYPH trade doing? Well, our new cost basis takes us to 57s. So let's go ahead and post some profit takers here. We're gonna go 63. On that bad boy. Shout out to my man T-Money. He's in at 371. That's money, T-Money. There you go, my man. Nice breakout trade there, but careful. Topping tail candle now on IRBT into 88s. It loses prior bar low. It loses my trade as a long. Prior bar low, 68. We're moving up the stop now, and we're going to put it just below prior bar low, Joey. What do you got?
Yeah, I'm looking to get involved with some Tesla short here, guys. So I'm going to wait for this pullback if we do get one. I mean, 2013s, I could give this thing 5 cents of risk. I like this profile a lot. Let's get involved. No, why? Why would you do that? I don't get it. Okay, so we got a little rejection. We're going to try this one more time. We're going to put it. We're going full size again. Okay, wow. Okay, this is not going as planned, Sharif.
You want me to take over?
No. That's okay. We'll talk about it because we're doing it real time. Yeah. Okay. That is why, my friend. Okay, yeah. Anyways, I can't short TSLL. I'll have to go the actual underlying. I wanted to kind of leverage my system here. To the individual in the chat, his name is Channel Trades. All right, let's go over some things here. All right, 10 cents of risk stopped out. We doubled up right here, stopped out. Triple size right here. You get that 2-to-1 all the way down here. We try it one more time, doesn't work out. Yeah, we get a little bit of a key error, but once again, risk measures in place right around the top. I didn't mean to get all out right there, but we did. Aside from that, fair enough. Okay, not the cleanest chart on the session, no problem, but we did get this nice move here in SMR after a couple of attempts. Boom, 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 boom. So we rocking and rolling on that one. So TSLZ, I believe, is going to be that inverse ETF. Oh, I didn't want to hit it on that one, but let's get TSLZ. And that is going to bring us to the Amex here. We can finally get it right. There it is on the AMX, guys. And I'm going to pull it up over here and get in LZ. And then we are going to send it over to Adara as I mess around with my keys.
JP Morgan is dropping here, guys. As I mentioned, they're at that Goldman Sachs financial conference, specifically Marianne Lake, who's one of their consumer CEOs. She's saying that the company expects revenue here in one of their segments to be low single-digit percentage here in for Q4. So they're only expecting low single-digit percentage growth for Q4. They expect Q4 markets revenue here in the low teens. And yeah, again here, we do have some management speaking for JPM at a conference. The stock is dropping. Furthermore, JP Morgan apparently seeing full year 2026 expenses at $105 billion. So if I get more details, I'll let you know. But yeah, JPM here dropping on some investment banking fees and full year expense guidance. Back to you.
That's ugly. And this thing was on the precipice of taking out a trilly, by the way. With that big drop from 317.71, which is the high, to the price right now, which is like 306. Joey, we're still $842 billion market cap. So this one was on the precipice of hitting that trillion or close too. But that's a monster drop.
That's a big time drop. But in the grand scheme of things, Shreve, I think that we're just trading around in the zone. It's funny. As soon as I seen it drop, do you have the mentality now? It's like, oh, you see these great names having these overextended moves, and you're like, oh yeah, I'm buying that 110%.
Oh yeah.
So that was literally when I seen that, the first thing I thought was like, all right, I'm gonna let it sell off a little bit more, and then I'm gonna get involved in it. I'm gonna buy some, sitting on some cash. I did buy a little bit more Netflix this morning, actually at 95 roughly or something along those lines. So shout out to I know you don't like that one. But hey man, we gotta go with the flow. This thing is down almost 30.
I'm just a hater.
Yeah.
I'm a hater.
No, that's totally fine.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing's down 30%, right? Like at JPM, XLF, you can see that's helping drag the SPY down as well too. We'll pull up XLF and see what we got going on. Not even really affected. You want to? Oh, look at this consolidation. This thing is going to break large because we know what's going to happen with the bank.
What is that, XLF?
Yeah, it's XLF.
That pleases me greatly, Joe.
That we're going to break out?
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, well, watch how much more efficient these guys become once everything is turned into stable coins.
One thing we haven't talked a lot about, Joey, is the deregulatory tailwind that the banks still will get under the Trump administration.
Yeah.
He hasn't done that deregulation that he's been talking about since before the election.
Well, didn't who was it? It wasn't Morgan. It might have been Goldman. Didn't they get their AUM cap lifted essentially?
That was Wells Fargo.
Well, Wells Fargo, yeah.
But that
Wells
was under
Fargo.
the previous deal.
Was it under the previous deal? Okay.
They were.
But regardless, you're getting those caps lifted, so that's huge, right?
Well, Joey, they were selling fake accounts. Well, they weren't even selling. They were opening accounts under customers' name who had an offer.
Yeah, who didn't offer.
Yeah,
so
you're going to get dinged if you do that. So.
Absolutely. But yeah, other than that, guys, I'm gonna keep my eyes on TSLZ here for a potential long. Let's see if we can get this rocking and rolling. It's a really risky thing to try and short Tesla right now. It's just the risk to reward. It's really hard for me to deny. XLF selling here as well with JPM, guys.
All right, I'm flattening out IRBT, that lost trend. I'm also about to flatten out here Open. Open is at the 10 EMA on the 5. So I feel like this is not the right thing to do to flatten it out because it's still above the 10 EMA. So I think I'm going to pack my patience on Open a little bit more than IRBT. IRBT, it's just, it feels like it's on the way down to 355. We'll have to wait and see what that one does. But CYPH, another profit taker there in the low 60s. Looking for continuation to the 70s. They're 62 again. We did add, recall, on IRBT. So we got some more shareage with which to play. We're going to go ahead and post up now at 69. Let's see if we can get that high a day, by the way, 66. OCG is changing its tune. It is now found support at 5.5, okay? And now it's kind of doing a little bit of a rounded bottom off that key area of technical support. I'm talking about the 550 area and or the volume weighted average price. They're overlapping. So OCG, we had a good trade on this one. I could be certainly persuaded to get back in, but this one wasn't without bamboozlement. Recall that $7 break probably caught a lot of people offside. Sorry, not $7 break. That retake of $7, this candle here at 12.10, caught a bunch of people offside. I was one of those people that was going to get caught offside, but I didn't punch. And what I was looking for was the taking or the making of a new area high above the 12 o'clock candle, which was 703. So I was debating putting a breakout trade at 707. And if I did, I would have been substantially out of the money as this one dropped into almost 550 after making a 7 1/3 touch. So OCG, you're gonna have to trade this carefully, but it feels like it might be changing its tune here. So that's what I'm looking at now. There goes CYPH again, Joey, into the area high. It's still a couple of pennies below the high of the day, but now we're posted at 69er. So let's see if we can get a nice move up there. And last but not least, AFJK is continuing to do its thing. Where the hell is my AFJK screen? I don't have one. Okay, so we're gonna have to make one here. All right, we're gonna take off Yes, AFJK. This one held the 20 quite well. I held $30 really well, and up it goes into 37.5. The current candle is around 33.75. So keep your eye out here on AFJK, AFJK. I know that, what's her name? KC526 was all over AFJK this morning, and she was putting her levels in the chat. Shout out to Case. This is probably a banger for her today, so we're going to shout out KC526. a great trader and always trading the small caps. So she's in my good books right away, Joey. What do you got?
Yeah, good stuff here. I'm just trying to snipe here on Tesla. I see what you're saying, Wyatt, brother. I totally agree with you, right? Like we're going against the grain on this one, and I just want to break it down. I don't think so, Joe. I'm in quarter-size quarter on Tesla at 12, Racer XM, waiting for exhaustion. Yeah, that's a good idea. I think that's essentially what you want to do. And what I was telling Wyatt, guys, is that I'm looking for entries that have giving me the good probability of a solid risk to reward. I mean, if Tesla's going to curl over, I think it's going to be maybe later. And I don't want to talk myself out of this trade, but I think it's really important to note that, hey, I only have to risk the high of the day. So it's not like I'm putting on a substantial amount. I define it. I say I want X amount of shares. It's going to cost me this much. Okay, there it goes. All right, let's get involved here. I'm going to post up at 12.20s here and see if we can catch that fill. It's starting to climb a little bit. It's only a penny. Again, I'm going to only give this, I'm going to have to give this to 15s here. So if it breaks this, by all means, 4 or 5 cents worth of risk, I'm going to take that all day for a potential move all the way back up. You have to go substantially heavier than typically so, because you have to take into consideration it's only a $12 name, and at the peak here, that's going to be only 20 cents. So you have to really double it up, but make sure you stick with those risk measures. And that's exactly why, again, it's the strongest name, so you have to write out your game plan. It's what Juan Padilla and I were just talking about. He's like, hey, man, I got some calls on Tesla. They're performing relatively well. What are you thinking? I'm like, hey, are you happy with the gains that you received? If not, then just write down a game plan. If you hit that target or you come relatively close to it and you're satisfied with your return, then by all means, take it off and enjoy that profit. But let's get rocking and rolling in TSLZ, guys. There's a gap above that should serve as resistance. But on Tesla you're referring to there, Racer 9, let's pull it up here. I got this chart there on Tesla. Again, this is all, if it breaks that, we're out of it. And we were talking about it earlier in the day, man. If you already know your worst case scenario, then there's essentially nothing to fear. So 12.20, we're in on this one. Someone is, I don't know, potentially, oh, it might be Shreve. He forgot his phone. Yeah, I definitely forgot his phone. I'm rooting for you, and I'm with you, says Wyatt. Yeah, man, let's rock and roll. Let's see if we can get this to start working for us. I mean, from a risk-to-reward standpoint, it's been a stellar one. And it was a cool start, but we just stuck to our guns, and then sure enough, you're starting to get somewhat of a pullback. Google is living in its own world, so keep an eye out on that 320, 325 level that we were talking about on multiple expiration cycles, some big-time stuff. JPM is really dragging the SPY down here, guys, heading right towards a key neckline. So, I mean, in a couple of sessions where we see the SPY and the financials help lead the SPY, here it is, dragging it down, and it's the same thing, right? At times you get that double-edged sword effect. It's like, okay, you're riding the wave of the tech boom, but then it also gets hit the hardest, right? And that has to be taken into consideration. So it's good to see that tech is relatively stronger. And let's see if we can get a move right back in here on TSLZ. Thank you, Adair, for mentioning that one on multiple occasions. I almost forgot about that, but a couple of pennies, and yeah, we just amped up the size, and I'm only risking 5 cents on this.
Good look, Joey. Good luck, guys. Still holding CYPH. Not a whole lot happening in my world right now. We're in the world of small cap gappers, for that matter. They're all taking a little bit of a break here from the breakouts that we've been talking about. Afrojack's taking it easy for a moment. AFJK is the one I'm talking about. Likewise with TGL, that one lost a bit substantially. ATMC, guys, which is up 500%. is still halted. This one is a pending news. So let me just bring in the side chart over here, as we don't have, where'd that, ATMC. ATMC, there it is. So this was the price action yesterday at around 4:15. It rockets up off that $15 close. When all was said and done, Joey, this thing closed at $15, and the pre-market, it got to 120. God love these things.
Crazy, man.
Yeah, we've been we've been halted pending news. So here is what we were talking about. Alpha time acquisition surges, well, more than 358. It's up 496 after hitting record levels. After a 98% of shareholders approve a merger with HCYC Group. December 5th meeting endorsed January 5th, 2024 merger agreement, which was amended on the 19th of August. It has a low float, gaining attention driving ATMC's rise. Stock available through brokerage accounts, Okay, so this one is halted, I believe, at 93.01 and has been so since 8:25 this morning. The difference is between these volatility halts and the news pending halts is we don't have an open time for the news pending. So we will have to fly blind here on ATMC. Let me see if I can see what the theoretical auction price is on it. Let's see if we can load that up over here. I don't want to take off AFJK. ATMC on the Nasdaq, I believe. It's not showing me a tap. So I guess that's the difference between news pending and volatility. It only did 587,000 shares on the day. No theoretical auction price, though, for this bad boy. So, yeah. ATMV on watch for a move back to VWAP, says Wookman. Let's see what ATMV is. ATMV. I heard the boys talking about these pairs this morning. That they were suspecting that they were trading together. This one is trading much below the volume weighted average price, 11 2/3. VWAP is at 13. So yeah, this one not tradable for me, but it's obviously still big on the day to the tune of 48%, but well off the highs. So nothing for me to do on that one. Still keeping an eye here on CYPH as it continues to accumulate south of that 2/3 of a dollar with the high of the day 66s. I did add into this area in the mid 50s. We've got, high 50s. Looking for a little bit more if it's going to hold trend. I mean, it's not breaking down below the 10 EMA, so CYPH could be another addition for me. IRBT still trending down after that topping tail candle. I had to flatten out of this one. Are we positive on that? Yeah, we're barely positive, but positive nonetheless. It's trying to hold, I guess, this 365 breakout area. If you look at the majority of the prints here from 10 o'clock to about 10:55, most of them reject off 365, save and except for these two candles at 10:20 and 10:25, which did breach into the 70s. So if it comes down into 365, it holds. I could certainly be persuaded to get back into this one off a key area of technical support. But for the moment, it's in no man's land, and I'm not interested in jumping into this one. AFJK is still strong. It's well off the highs, obviously, 40.87 highs, but there's that $35 move. Guys, this is going to halt up here at $35, or it looked like it was. 30.75 is the current candle low, so it's already a $5 range on one 5-minute candle here on AFJK. So be on the lookout for that. This one could absolutely rock it up with a 40.87 high, guys. So Joseph and I, we're going to take a little bit of a break here. We're going to send you to Adara at the big desk, who's got a special guest during the midday.
Actually, we have two special guests, which is really exciting. We're very pleased to announce, to introduce to you guys Sean Koon, CEO of Dolly Varden Silver, as well as Rick Van Nieuwenhuis, CEO of Contango Ore. Thank you guys both so much for being here with us today. So Sean and Rick, your companies are merging to create Contango Silver and Gold. Can you each describe briefly what makes this merger so attractive to your company's leadership and what benefits this deal is going to hold for shareholders? Sean, I'll start with you.
Okay, so really delighted to be on. Thank you for having us. We're proposing to merge to create North America's next mid-tier silver and gold producer. And, I'll hit on a couple of the points that make this a merger that is very, very strategic. First of all, we've got a geographically complementary and consistent asset base. So, Rick Van Nieuwenhuis has built a number of companies in Alaska, companies like Nova Gold from inception. Today, the company's valued at $6 billion. Trilogy Metals is another success story. And, Rick has driven Contango to the $500 million valuation it is today. The merger takes us to about $1 billion valuation. We've got $100 million in cash, $100 million of cash flow. So the two companies have complementary assets. We're well funded. We have production, development, and exploration. And then the last thing I'll point on before I hand it over to Rick to get into some of the more specifics is we're in a market where size matters, scales matters, having that enhanced presence, that liquidity. We've got wonderful shareholders on both sides, whether they're corporates like Hecla Mining or institutions like Franklin, Alyeska. So we've got support from our shareholders. These are seasoned management teams that have delivered a lot of value to their shareholders. And at a time that both silver and gold are hitting record nominal highs, we're giving investors an opportunity to get exposure to high-grade assets in a safe jurisdiction with a management team that's delivered a lot of value in their careers.
Yeah, Rick, I'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing, you see mergers happen all the time, but there's a lot of times they're not real synergies. And I think that's what's different about this merger. And from Contango's side, we've developed a business model where we get our projects into production relatively quickly from the mining standpoint and getting them in for production by using what we call the direct shipping ore model. And that requires that we start with high grades, and we ship our ore directly to an existing mill and tailings facility that can process the ore. And what that means is it lowers capital, lowers our environmental footprint, and lowers our permitting timelines. And that's important in the mining business, especially for a smaller junior company, because access to capital is always a challenge. And so, as Sean says, now we're merging and getting bigger, but it's with a consistent high grade deposits. Our deposits all are 10, 15 gram gold. Sean's is high grade silver and gold. So putting these companies together, now we have a high grade gold, silver, precious metal focused, North American focused company. And that's well capitalized. When we put the two companies together, we'll have 31 million shares outstanding, which gives us a nice tight share structure to work with. And I think it's a great launching platform for a rocket ship.
Building off of your answer here, I want to go back to Sean for a second, because Dolly Varden has traditionally been viewed as a pure high-grade explorer. So how does this deal actually impact your long-term vision for the Kitso Valley project? And do you expect production timelines are going to be pulled forward as a result?
One of the biggest challenges you have in mining is how do you get the silver out of the ground? It's expensive. You need a certain expertise. What this deal does for Dolly is by partnering with a well-funded, experienced team that has operated in the North with a lot of success, it gives us a chance to move from explorer through development and into production. It's really unlocking that silver potential to our investors. And in addition, we're actually expecting a new report that's going to be coming out with a new mineral resource estimate where we expect to increase our current silver inventory by 50%. So that's an exciting development for the company. It's keeping in our silver-centric focus, but we're getting exposure to production and high-grade gold.
Awesome. And I want to go back to Rick here for a second. You did mention the direct shipping ore in your first response. I want to talk a little bit more about this, because you have emphasized this DSO here strategy as the core differentiator for this deal. So with Kitso Valley and Johnson Tract now all under one roof, how do you prioritize which project is going to get fast-tracked towards DSO development first, and under what economic conditions?
That's one of the nice, truly synergistic things about this is that Johnson Tract and Kitsault, they're both sulfide, precious metal-rich sulfide deposits, and so they can be processed in the same kind of facility. And so that's where the real synergies are, and I don't see that we have to prioritize one or the other. They just fit naturally into a flow stream that's going to just augment production. So we're starting with when we combine these companies, we're starting with a gold resource base of over 3 million ounces of gold equivalent. You think about it in silver terms, it's 250 million ounces of silver, and on a silver equivalent basis. So and roughly when Sean gets his MRE done first half of next year, I think you'll see that the combined company will be sort of 50% gold and 50% silver. And there's only one other company in the North American space that looks like that, and that's Hecla, and that's a $10 billion market cap company. So that's where we're headed.
Excellent point. I do have a couple more questions here, Sean, just to touch back on the Kitso Valley here, because that just completed one of the district's most aggressive drill programs in years. So in what ways do you expect your exploration strategy to evolve following this merger?
Well, we've been really focused on discovery, growing ounces, both with the drill bit, but also we've done some accretive M&A transactions. It's now time to wrap our hands. We figured how big the project is. It's now time to move it towards a development stage. So, look, we've got 50,000 meters or 80 drill holes to report. And if we look at the drilling that we have reported, it's been very positive. It's directly correlated with a positive impact on our share price. You know, one of the hardest things to do in our industry is to discover and is to grow. And we've got that exploration pipeline. But now that we've identified such a large mineral inventory, and there are some underutilized processing facilities in the neighborhood that are hungry for ore, Rick and his team will help us move the project from exploration through development and into production. And by leveraging this DSO model, with this unique model where it reduces CapEx by not building processing facilities and permitting tailings, you're cutting your timelines in half, and you're drastically reducing CapEx.
Awesome. I do want to end here by asking Rick, can you provide me with one major takeaway here about this merger that you'd like to leave our audience with regards to Contango Silver and Gold, your new company?
Yeah, so I would wrap it up by just saying simply, Contango had a great 5-year plan. And by combining with Dolly Varden and creating Contango Silver and Gold, we've got a 20-year business model now. And so it's solid, it's well-financed. It's got a great team of executives behind it, solid independent board, and it's a great platform to keep growing.
Thank you so much both for being here. Sean Koon, CEO of Dolly Varden Silver, and Rick Van Nieuwenhuis, CEO of Contango Ore. Great to have you both with us and sharing some facts about the new merged company.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having us on.
Great interview there, guys. Great look and great information from the pair of them. Thank you very much for that. Obviously, metals very much in play.
Very much
Gold,
so.
Silver, everything's really strong right now, Joey.
Silver has been on an absolute tear. Obviously, we know what gold's been doing as of late as well, too, guys. So some big time moves. Here it is, right? Last attempt on these Tesla short, it's really strong. So I have no issues with it, right? You go over to on this specific name. It's the strongest in the market. Google continuing to climb a little bit higher, and it looks like the Nasdaq wants to come and test these highs as well, too. So other than that, guys, 5 cents a risk, exact same thing. If I get back to where my previous entry was, then we're already Ponyboy golden right there. So there it is. 12.10 is going to be the stop on TSL's edge.
All right, guys, still holding some here on position boards out, but CYPH, I think I'm going to end this trade if it continues into the, I want to say 57. I'm going to move up my stop on this one. We've got 59s on at the moment. We've taken out some, but not the full position here on CYPH after the reload. Separately, I got back into IRBT. This one paying a lot quicker than CYPH is. Holding trend here, so we got back in almost at the same price we got in initially. So this will be the second time around here on IRBT. So let's go ahead and take some out at 75. I've got my next profit taker at 88. That would have to be a high of day break because the high of the day right now on IRBT is 88. It's finding good support at the $0.0025, which is unsurprising given what we had done at that level as a resistance on the way up. I'm talking about that breakout at around 950, where we range there with the top end of that bull flag being around 3, yeah, exactly, almost 3 2/3, 366. Lo and behold, we have a triple bottom, 1240 candle, 1245, and then 1250, all of which held that 3 high to mid 60s on IRBT. It's up 18.5%, and kind of putting a bit of a bull flag. This could be bull flag number 2. Initial one obviously started around 950. That's the big boy breakout that you're seeing there. And then bull flag number 2 starts at around 1130 with good continuation. Whether or not we get a break out from the second bull flag, your guess is as good as mine. it is less likely, of course, that we get a third bull flag than we do a second one. So we'll have to wait and see whether this one does that or not. OCG, I want to mention, you guys, I kind of gave you guys the hint that this one was starting to change trend before the break. It just breached 6.5 by 4 pennies. It's showing 6.40 right now. There is resistance at that $0.50, though. I have to mention that. All these candles over here kind of rejected the $0.50. So if we get above and hold above the $0.50, it could be a nice squeeze into that $7 area, and then ultimately we know the high of the day is $7.98 on this one. So let's keep a close eye on OCG. I'm going to keep my eye on CYPH, IRBT, and OCG. But open is starting to curl back above the 715 area. Where's my open screen? There it is. So this one I had to flatten out, man, on the last remaining amount. Are we actually negative on open? Yeah, that's my only negative name on the day. In fact, barely negative on open, but we did give back a little bit here as we had to stop out the last remaining amount. I don't know, man. I still feel like open is still putting in lower highs, and unless I'm catching it off an area bottom, it's not really for me at the moment. So I'm going to forego any trades on open. Last but not least, before we send it back to Joey, AFJK is insane. AFJK, another new high a day. That printed at 12.55, 42.74. It's showing you 39s, 38.5. This thing will move 50 pennies, $1, quick as you freaking like. So be on the lookout for that. Trade it carefully and make sure you're trading it with a plan.
Absolutely. All right, guys. So yeah, we take that second stop out here on TSLZ. Obviously, that the truck, the semi truck, yeah.
The Tesla Semi?
Semi. Big, massive catalyst, right? So I was thinking side. No, it's the Semi. Again, so yeah, that's it, guys. I'm gonna take a ground out here or a pop fly, and then we get struck out because I'm not gonna continuously try to short the strongest name. We took our 2 attempts, and we're more than happy about it, so we're not going to complain whatsoever. That did turn me slightly red on the day, but it's one trade away from going back to rocking and rolling here, guys, and just churning shares on the session. So I'm happy with how we've been performing so far today. There goes the Nasdaq as well, too, heading right back up to 5620. That's obviously going to be the TQs there, and Google can't stop, won't stop. So yeah, I know. Yeah, sorry.
You know who does that, right?
The guy that they just dropped the documentary on.
Why don't you say his name?
Puff, right? It's Puff, no?
I like how you're like tippy-toeing around it.
Hey, we beat
Is he
around
that
the bush,
taboo now? Nobody can't even say this guy's name.
Yeah, I know. But hey, man, I think he. Yeah, he's. Did you happen to? I'm not even.
No.
Did you happen to see any of that documentary?
I have not. Is it on the flakes?
It's on the flake.
And I won't.
But brother, you have the other thing too that you can go and check it out, which you would only.
What is that one called,
type.
Joey?
IPTV. Yeah, so you can go and check it out there. Netflix 5 minutes says Gorb. Don't tempt me, my friend, on a Netflix long here because. I would love to. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's so late. Why you tell me 5 minutes later, brother? But again, that's nothing that I love at the lows, right? We're extremely picky with our entries and our exits and where we're going to be putting them. But yeah, that's not a bad level to get involved with, around $95. I grabbed some more around 96 or something along those lines this morning. So yeah, let's keep an eye on it. What is this name up to? I had this strong feeling, Sharif, that this morning it's like, hey, we had this nice catalyst, obviously in the likes of NVDA, but there's literally been no continuation. You're right back to those breakout levels, roughly a little bit more. It's holding something, but zero continuation on today's intraday price action. Maybe around 230, we'll get a volume spike, and I'm going to try to follow it here. So we're just going to continuously be a hunter and a sniper here in the overall market, looking for those precise entries. And I mean, look at this. We have a key resistance zone right here. That's going to be your flap top, and then you have the continuous higher lows, which is something positive, and it will break, but it's just only a matter of if and when. And it may not be today. It might be in the post-market or the pre-market tomorrow. Just be patient and wait for yourself for a precise entry, guys.
Joey.
Yes, sir.
Did you look at BMNR today?
Is it up bigly?
10%.
Bang. But
and I'm still out of the money on it.
Hold on.
Yes, sir.
10%, but Ether's up 8%.
Yeah, well, it doesn't have to trade.
I'm saying from like a 2-to-1.
Well, it's not 10%, to be fair. It's 9 1/3. Sorry, I kind of... pushed it up a little bit higher
there, man. Why are you relaying me? 9.8. We're going to call it 8%. Sorry, I meant to say
Yeah.
8%. Did I say 10%? 8%.
ETH is up 7.5. I got on my.
I got 7.
Everybody's different.
Yeah, I got
because
7.9.
it starts differently.
Yeah, I got 7.9.
Guys, I'm quite happy with the exit here. I'm never really celebrating stops, but this pleased me greatly. I took it out for a penny or two winner on CYPH. Then the bottom really came off right into 150. It is finding an area of support at that $1.50. But it's not showing me any higher high, so I'm not going to guess whether or not this is gonna hold at the $1.50. But there it goes, CYPH giving back a little bit here off that 166 area high. So we're packing the patience on CYPH. If it holds, we'll get back in. Simple as that. IRBT got back into this one. Scalp all the way up to 82s. We went the beak as well at 77s. It's holding higher lows, but it's really not able to break decisively through that 380. I mean, look at all the prints above 380. They're all very short-lived, right? Case in point, you got 2 candles in the 1 minute that breach it at around 12.15. Same business here at 12.35. 2 candles that breach it right back down. And again, over here, you breach 80 and then you're right back down. So now we know for certain that there's a seller, a bigger seller at 80s and a seller with conviction. So what's the other side of the coin? The other side of the coin is we're putting in higher lows. And we're up 18.5% on the day. So I'm going to continue to hold this one. If it loses this area bottom, I'm talking about this area right here, which takes me into 66s, it ends the trade for me. Right now, I know the position board is out, but I'm long 73. So we're like 2 pennies in the money, nothing to write home about there. And quite frankly, other than OCG, I don't have any good trade ideas. OCG, though, is rounding. It is likely going to hit $7 here. At least it feels that way. What a move up off 5.5. It's now showing 660 with the high of the day being 798. OCG's up 150% despite the fact that it's $1.50 off the highs. So this one could be making a comeback for the afternoon. Keep your eye out on OCG. Looking very, very strong. Mike, P. Man, that's a second super he's dropped on the day. Mike, he just says TTV #1, bro. He's just all love.
So he's
all love, man.
And is that how it is in the O banks? Mike P is just pure love out there, right? He's in the O banks.
Joey, OCG just took out some levels, man. We just got in, I believe, into 680. So OCG's on the rampage up. We got to start the news because we're super late. It's 1:10, Joey. Yeah. But I really wanted to get into this one. I'm going to hold my position on IRBT, but I'm not going to punch into OCG because OCG is much more aggressive of a mover, and I definitely need to be keeping my eye out on it. 2 New York cents. My problem lately has not been taking profits where it previously broke out. I'm expecting a new high, and I end up taking less than what I wanted. Where would you place your stop loss at? I'm assuming you're talking about IRBT. I told you, brother, I would place my stop right at that area low. Where's the IRBT trade? There it is, right there. So if this consolidation area low doesn't hold, I'm talking about the 3 mid to high 60s, that's the end of the trade for me, okay? It held up over here, to New York's, and then it held up over here. If it doesn't, then the trend is changing, and I want nothing to do with it. So we're going to put in another profit taker at 80. We took 82, so we'll put 83, and then we're going to take off the prior one. We're going to let that bad boy run, hopefully, into the low 90s. We're going to put a profit taker there. But OCG's all gas, no brakes, guys. There it goes again, now into 680. There's a seller at 80 here on OCG that we can't shake. It feels like it's a matter of time till this dude, you know, gets taken out, but 680, a level 4 now on OCG. So I just want to mention that.
All right, good stuff. There's a couple of things that I want to go over here, but hey, we have the right idea, just timing a little bit off. As you can see, climbing a little bit higher in TSLs, that's going to be the inverse. But one thing that I wanted to talk about, Mike P, you're so lucky that it was you. Oh, it's Christoph. Okay, yeah, Christoph, I'll give you an exception, all right? But anyways, here it is. This is no coincidence. We talked about this how long ago? Literally when it was printed. When was this the largest print that we experienced from before? November. When? It's the same thing as Bitcoin, right? So, I mean, at the end of the day, December 1st, you have this largest volume print in over a year on MSTR, and then sure enough, you're rebounding. If you're not looking at volume, then I don't really know what you're doing at the end of the day, because it's a world. You can have any indicator on in the planet. I think this is one of the most telling, aside from price, all right? So that's it. Hold on one second.
Yeah, no problem.
Well, you have something? We'll get in the news there momentarily. I want to pull up something here. Oh, yeah, right. It would do this. Look at this. Aggressive sell puts in this print. This just tells me that this name is extremely, extremely strong. I was thinking about taking a potential short on NVDA. It's not there. It broke through the support levels, but immediately bought right back up.
He's joking,
I didn't see anything that you said.
He's joking.
No, I know, but no, the reason, because I just seen his name on so many different occasions. Thank you for the super chat, by the way, Khalid. You don't have to apologize ever. I just seen your name on multiple occasions, and I thought it was Mike P. DeRider, and then I seen it was you, and I'm like, oh, okay, there's the exception. There's only so many people that can spam the chat, and apparently you're one of them now, Christoph Ocean. So you and Mike P. DeRider will get the pass from me.
Oh, Joey's decreed. He's just dropped a decree, my man. All right, let's get to work, Joey. By the way, IRBT new high a day. We're still holding. Where are we long? 73? 89 now high a day. All right, Assassino, we're good to go, my man. We're gonna hit the full screen, and we have 3 different stories on Nvidia today. So deep is this story, so let's get right down to work. President Trump announced Nvidia will be allowed to ship the H200 series chips to approved customers, quote unquote, approved customers. More on that in a second. In China, as well as other regions, provided, of course, the U.S. government, now not 15% of revenue, but a light and interesting 25% of China revenue, not overall Nvidia revenue. Want to make that very clear, but it is higher than the 15% he had previously agreed to Jensen with for the H20 exports. Trump said, President Xi, quote, responded positively. Policy pitched is here as supportive of U.S. jobs, manufacturing, taxpayer revenue, of course, by shipping these U.S. designed, U.S. made, some of them made in Arizona. It keeps, the world relying on American technology. The same structure will apply to AMD, Intel, and other chip makers, potentially, reshaping the competitive landscape. AMD, as I mentioned, already had an agreement with the U.S. government vis-a-vis President Trump in August to share 15% of the China chip sales. It was just chip sales. It was not revenue for the entire company. China earlier did warn, though, and we're going to get to this on the next story, they warned their domestic firms against using the H20 chip. Now we've got a new chip, the H200, much more sophisticated. It was the leading chip back in 2023 before the launch of Hopper in 24. As I kind of alluded to there, the H20 is a higher grade chip. The H200 is a higher grade chip than the H20, though not NVIDIA's top tier products like Blackwell and the new Vera Rubin. It creates an export middle ground, so to speak. I'm going to keep going because there are 3 stories that about NVIDIA, and then we'll comment about all of them.
Go through all 3 of them, and then we will go through.
All right. Why would NVIDIA accept 25% less? You're going to have to ask them, brother. China is preparing, though, to limit the domestic access to NVIDIA's H200 AI chips, despite President Trump authorizing it, and despite President Xi's comment that it was positively received. Beijing regulators are discussing controlled, narrowed access to curb the widespread use of the H200 by Chinese firms. This move signals, of course, continued Chinese retaliation against U.S. semiconductor restrictions. If you're not going to sell us your best stuff, we're not really going to be inclined to want to use it. That's what they're saying. What really, though, you feel like they're doing is they're forcing their own domestic market to come up with a solution. So far, the solution has been to string together these less advanced chips. And for now, it's working. But how long is that going to work for? We're talking about the Huawei Ascend, a much less capable chip, but in large numbers, it seems to be able to train some of these larger models. China's new constraint adds yet another barrier for NVIDIA, AMD, and others to grow in the world's largest, yes, it is the world's largest AI chip market, where NVIDIA has no shares. Analysts warn, though, that the approval may have limited commercial benefit unless a heavier duty chip like the Blackwell is also cleared for export. China's limitations suggest, though, a strategic push, as I kind of alluded to reduce reliance on U.S. chips and to boost domestic AI hardware to combat, of course, or counter U.S. export leverage. One more story here, and then we're going to get comments from everybody. And then there was this. U.S. authorities have shut down a large-scale China-linked smuggling network trafficking about $160 million worth in export-controlled H100s and H200 GPUs. 2 businessmen were arrested. A Houston-based company and its owner have already pled guilty in the wider investigation, and the operation uncovered attempts to funnel these GPUs with military and advanced AI applications to prohibited entities. It wasn't just the GPU themselves. It was coming with military and advanced AI applications in addition to the actual chip. This Alan Howe Sue of Texas and his company pled guilty on the 10th of October for selling H100s and H200s between October of 24 to May of 25. The scheme relied on falsified documents, misclassified shipping information, and concealed chips, destined, of course, to China, Hong Kong, and other restricted regions. Something tells me Singapore was likely involved in that as well. Investigators traced $50 million of the money used to China-originated funds, which were obviously used to buy these chips. So this Su guy, he faces 10 years in prison. Fan Yo Gong, he faces another 10-year in prison. And then Canada even has a hand to play in this. Ben Lin Yuan allegedly coordinated Hong Kong logistics, created cover stories, and hid their end destination. This dude faces 20 years in prison. They're always crapping on Canada, man. Oh. And the GPUs, Joey, as part of the scheme, were rebranded, relabeled, and shipped under fictitious names to make them appear as generic computer parts. And the team of those individuals allegedly coached inspectors on how to hide Chinese end users and release detained shipments. So this is yet another story. Yet another story in the saga of Nvidia and the chip restrictions. Joseph, what do you make?
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
Sorry, brother, there's a lot.
No, there's a lot going on, and I was working on them. But I think something that's really important to note is, does China even really want the H200s? We know that a lot of the institutions applied for the permit when we were first talking about it, and it was granted. Now, is it a further dated, is it going to be an outdated chip in the coming years? Obviously, it's already a couple of years old at this point, but is that going to leave them breathing room to give them a updated version? Or when you have the newest NVDA chip come out, they can sell down that lesser version? I think it's a good start. I think it's a good opening of the door to allow these chips in. We have the likes of AMD and NVDA in. Now, it's just a matter of time to see if they actually are going to continuously want to buy them. And I think that's going to be a big factor coming into play here very, very shortly.
All right, just before we get Adair's take on this, guys, I want to tell you guys, I just found something crazy. I'm digging into exchanges, and I stumbled across BTCC, top 30 globally, guys. But here's the wild part. They've never been hacked, while major exchanges kept getting wrecked. BTCC stays untouched. 0 KYC if you're in the US, Canada, or Europe. And through Trader TV, you also get $100 in USDT coupons for registering. Plus, you also get 15% bonus that covers losses up to about 15,000 USDT. Seriously, what am I missing here, Joseph? Scan that QR code on the screen for more information. Adira, give us your take on the Nvidia saga.
Here's the thing, and I've kind of said in general, I think we just need to be at a point where, like, okay, you know, China is agreeing to accept these chips, great. U.S. wants to sell them. I was like, we need some kind of change here. And even now that we have this big announcement, there is still fundamentally no change. Why? Because, you know, there is zero force here for China or for these Chinese entities to even accept these chips. So it's still kind of a moot point. And furthermore, I think a lot of the interest in NVIDIA selling these chips has gone away. Jensen Huang himself has said, hey, you know, it'd be nice if we can sell them, but we're not really counting on that revenue, right? So, okay, let's say if they do sell them, that's an extra revenue stream for NVDA. That's cool, that's dope, I'm not going to dispute that. But are there any downsides to this? Well, the one downside you could argue is, okay, now they're gonna have to have a larger revenue share than before, but again, it's still a revenue share of something, whereas they weren't making any revenue on this before. So I think this is, the point I'm trying to make is I think this is a zero-sum game for NVIDIA. It's cool that they can do it. It would make no difference if they couldn't do it. And yeah, I think at this point, like I've said, I find this story to be so tedious because we get all these tiny little updates of these backs and these forths. And here we are, and again, at this point, because we spent so long wringing our hands about NVIDIA sending chips to China, I wonder if it's all a moot point. My last final caveat that I must make is I love that Trump took the time to plug Intel in that post, like, hey, yo, INTC, and, well, AMD too, but INTC, which of course Trump's government does have an ownership stake in, is going to be there potentially as well, selling chips in China. So interesting little caveat there. He had to get that Susan in that mention of INTC. So yeah, nice look there. But either way, like I said, for NVIDIA, I think this is a nothing burger. I think it will continue to be nothing burger unless something massive changes in the equilibrium to make this a something burger.
Thank you very much for that. Guys, I want to mention open doors starting to curl back up again into that 720 area. Great hold off the 20 to 725 high. Keep your eye on open door. Likewise, keep your eye on OCG. Good call out by Casey, but I told you this as well. There it goes through 750. OCG was a fantastic rounded bottom off the volume weighted average price, off that 550, off the previous breakout level. Good look here for OCG, up 178%, a couple of shekels below the high of the day, Joseph.
Yo, let's say one more thing about
Absolutely. Go ahead,
NVDA.
brother.
Again, we're all worried about China, but one thing that we haven't really talked about too much is other nations like the Gulf countries who can definitely subsidize, which they have been, and can probably in the near future probably put in even bigger orders and continue their AI build out. So I think that what I'm getting at here is that NVDA, no matter what happens with China, still has the potential to have a lot in the pipeline with other countries starting their AI build.
I don't disagree with that at all. I'm just worried about certain headwinds. One, you have no access to the world's largest AI market, that is China.
That's China.
That's number two, is I'm worried about the application-specific integrated circuits that will be a disruptive force to NVIDIA's, not just GPUs, their margins. So if these ASICs chips, and you know, basically only the hyperscalers can make them now because you've got to team up with Marvell or Broadcom to make them, right? If they actually proliferate more and you know, they're being used more en masse, then what incentive do customers have to continue to pay 80%, 75% gross margins on NVIDIA's products? I think the gross margins start to drop.
That's where you fear is that China's going to have the ability to make something equally as good at a significant
It's not even
discount.
China, Joey.
It's other countries as well.
It's Broadcom. It's Marvell. It's other.
Okay. So you're domestically worried as well.
Yes,
okay,
I think ASICs chips are fundamentally disruptive. They're not new, but they're being used in a different way now than they were previously. So we're going to see exactly how it
I think that, I mean, I think them locking in, obviously, the Saudis, Qatar, and the Gulf countries is a major win. And if they can keep them and lock them in, because they already signed a 5-year deal.
They did.
It's a 5-year deal. So if that gets extended, I think that's going to be substantial for.
I don't think anything you're saying is wrong. Like, all right.
No, but you have the at-home concerns, which is
I do genuinely.
But we talked about it's the same thing with Tesla. They have the most amount of market share. There's only one way that they can really go at.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, it only was going to go one way. It wasn't going to go over 100. Is that shirt Lulu? Yes, Grant Ratcliffe. It is. How did you know that, man? It is Lulu. One of the only dress shirts that I have that's Lulu. All right, let's go on, guys. European Commission. Oh God. Launched a fresh, that's not even my word, man, a fresh antitrust probe into Google's use of online content for AI training and deployment, including material from web publishers as well as YouTube creators like us. Regulators are assessing whether Google imposed unfair terms or leverage privileged access to publishers' content to gain an edge in developing their own AI overviews and AI modes. So they're using your data that's on Google search, it's on Google's network to train their models. They're doing it without your consent, according to the European Union. Whether publishers can refuse content without losing visibility on Google search is the main issue. So you can theoretically take your website off Google so it's no longer indexed on Google, and then that way Google won't train off it. However, that's an unfair trade-off according to the European Union. They don't want you to have to lose your spot on Google or to lose indexing on Google in order to not not have Google train off your information. That's what's being said here. The investigation will assess if AI outputs, including AI overviews or AI mode that are being offered by Google now, rely on publisher content without adequate compensation. The EU aims to determine whether Google's dominant market position in search and video give it an unfair structural advantage in AI. Google argues, for their part, the compliant risks is slowing innovation in a rapidly evolving competitive AI market. A spokesperson said the company continues working with publishers and the creative industries as they shift in the AI era. What do you make of this? If you use, pardon me, if you use my content, should you be getting paid?
Probably not, no.
I'm not asking about what they're doing. I'm asking about your opinion.
No.
So
why would I get paid for using your
So
content?
it's your content. It's Joseph Options content.
Okay.
Google indexed your website.
Yeah.
And they're training their AI models off your website.
Yeah, absolutely.
Should you be getting paid?
Absolutely. You're using my material.
Okay.
At the end of the day, yes.
Now, that material was put online for free. Correct?
Yeah.
So anybody, a human, could have went in and read your material. Why is it fundamentally, and I could have made money off the knowledge that you gave on your website. So why is it different that a big company has to pay, but a smaller entity doesn't?
To pay. Yeah, that's a fair question, man. I mean, if it's free content online, it's really hard to argue that. The EU's been obviously antitrust left, right, and center. It doesn't matter who it is. It's Google. It's Google one day. It's Meta the other day. It's Amazon the next. So yeah, no, that's a very valid point, Sharif. Why should they have to pay? And I think they have a pretty solid argument.
We're just gonna see how it goes.
And watch it. See, I don't know how much weight that these antitrust from the EU are going to hold on Google's shoulders. But hey, that's just another tailwind. If the judge rules in their favor, which I would be surprised if they didn't, probably at the end of the day, then you can see this thing continue to climb to new highs. I just don't think it's. I don't think it's that heavily weighted on Google right now, considering what we've seen. And if it is weighing on the stock, then watch out for what
exactly. Well said. Because remember when that antitrust cap came off and what Google did after that?
Exactly.
All right, guys. Shout out to Ichiro. He's chiming in as well. I love the comments that you guys are dropping in the chat. So many different opinions. I don't think there's one right or one wrong answer, but I love the interaction back and forth. Keep the ideas coming, guys. And if you want Joseph or I to read out your comment, make sure that you're tagging us. All right. It looks like it's a tough world right now in the world of Meta, guys, as Llama. You know, we entered 2025 with the idea that Llama would become one of the industry's top open source AI models, but the internal momentum has faded sharply according to some reports coming out of the company, with Zuckerberg barely mentioning Llama on Meta's most recent earnings call. I wonder if someone picked up on that. The company is now pivoting to a more secretive, high-cost, talent-driven, and most notably, they are moving away from open source, which Llama pseudo was. And I say pseudo because you can only use a certain amount of tokens before you had to pay. In fact, they're going into a proprietary frontier closed source model, according to some reports, completely different than what we had seen the company say was going to be their take. Insiders say Meta's AI roadmap looks scattershot, reinforcing the concerns that the market had. Meta is also developing a successor to Llama, as we spoke about this morning, codenamed Avocado. It's expected in 26. It's a typo, excuse me. But it's now likely to launch. So it was expected in 25. That's not a typo. Now likely to launch in Q1 of 26. Meta claims the timelines are unchanged, but internal teams report delays. Avocado likely will be a closed source model, a dramatic departure from their previous philosophy. And here's the deal, dude. Llama 4 failed to excite developers, and Meta rushed product Vibes, which was an AI video feed. It was widely viewed as inferior to Sora 2. And Jensen, listen to this. Jensen listed all major AI customers, including their models, on his earnings call, but he didn't mention Llama.
That's crazy.
A notable omission. Meta's increasingly relying on CoreWeave and Oracle, and they signed a $27 billion deal to develop that Hyperon AI data center in Louisiana.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think out of the big names, I think Zuck might catch the most heat out of everyone. I don't know how you feel about that, Sharif, but one day they love him, the next day they're like, we don't really love you too much. But considering so, I think there's nothing wrong with this stock. I don't think it's going to be broken. It's unfortunate that he wants to be at the peak of this race. He wants to lead it with his Llama, but it just didn't work out. We've seen it before with the metaverse, spending by 30%. 30%. I'm not saying that's going to be the case here with Llama and Avocado, but for some reason, for me, I'm just like, hey, Zuck, stick to what you've been good at for the past decade and a half, and then maybe don't spend so much money on those other things. Work on Instagram, work on Reels, work on WhatsApp, which is absolutely taking everything by storm. WhatsApp is phenomenal ad revenue on that as well, too. A lot going on. And who just announced that they're, Gemini ads on Gemini.
I still haven't seen that, have you?
I haven't seen them yet. It'll probably take a little while. Ads on Gemini. Like, I get it. If that's what you're looking to head towards, just expect the fact that you're not going to be the best in class because we have Gemini and ChatGPT in the top of that.
There you go. Guys, couple of updates before we go on to the next story. IRBT just got into another high of the day. We're holding 73s on the ad. It's a 92 penny area high. OCG running as well. There it goes into 7.5. It is finding some resistance to be expected at 7.5 as it had spent all of 0.1 seconds above that level when it squeezed up into 798. The closing prints, though, all have been below 7.5, but OCG is on that good stuff right now. It's a fantastic hold off the volume weighted average price and a previous breakout level. Look for the continuation in $8 on OCG. Let's go on to the next story. Microsoft announcing investing 7.5 billion Canadian dollars, which is about 500 million American, I'm playing, 500 million American there. 5.42 billion, of course, is the conversion rate there. So that's what Microsoft's going to invest in Canada, Joey, over the next 2 years, marking one of the largest international AI cloud expansions for the company. The new data center, and they're going to add new data center and new cloud capacity coming online the second half of 2026. Total Microsoft investment in Canada between 2023 and to now, basically since the beginning of the AI era, now 19 billion Canadian dollars, highlighting the strategic importance of Canada as an AI and cybersecurity hub. Microsoft will expand its Azure locally as well in Canada, giving new tiers and new prices. They're also launching, Joey, Threat Intelligence Hub in Canada, dedicated to cybersecurity, AI threat detection, and collaboration with the Canadian government. The hub will monitor what they're calling state-backed hackers, organized crime groups, and emerging AI-enabled attacks. The company employs about 5,300 workers across 11 cities in Canada, and they plan additional hiring. And I was looking at see where these data centers are going to get built out.
Where?
Vaughan and Etobicoke. Yeah, I know, because we'll think about it. Vaughan, right? You want big land. Vaughan and Etobicoke, as well as Quebec City.
Vaughan?
Of course, it's York region.
But I mean, if we're talking big land, we go up north, you know what I mean?
Well, they need people to work at them, bro.
They need people to work. Yeah. But hey, we know that these things can kind of build their own ecosystems at the same time. Like you send that up, send that up north, you can get more people funneling out of the city to work there. I mean, hey, as long as Microsoft is ready to pay capital gains on these investments, then by all means, now 30%, thanks to the Canadian government, obviously being sarcastic at the end of the day. But hey, listen, we'll take it. It's going to help boost the economy, obviously, with the Ring of Fire as well, too. But I think that it's really important that us as the partner or the neighbors to the United States, that we try to not go tit for tat in a build-up, but we want to compete. And it's really good that we see the big boys participating in the build-out here.
It's a great, 1 second, Assassino, it's like, well, great point that you just brought up, that, you know, because there's so much similarities. And even President Trump said it. He's like, the problem with Canada is that they're building a lot of the same stuff that we're building. It's like in parallel. That obviously creates competition, and I don't know if we're going to get the good end of that.
They're still 10 times larger than we are.
Exactly.
Right? So, I mean, from a competitive standpoint.
Ram.
A little bit tougher.
New traders, listen up. The first month is absolutely free. That's right. We're waiving all the fees so you can trade smarter, not harder, by upgrading to that elite experience where you'll be able to analyze, you'll be able to strategize, and hopefully after you do all that, you'll capitalize on their platform that has everything. We're talking about infinite data, Randy. We're talking about instant trading. We're talking about lightning fast market insights and game changing charts. And you can also predict better with their backtesting tool. Guys, You get reliable, real-time data and global markets at the tips of your fingers. It's an all-in-one platform, so don't miss out. Execute your best trades now. If you're ready to elevate your trading, scan that QR code or click the link in the description. Shout out to Ozan, e-signal. All right, guys, let's go on to the next story. Tesla semi-truck momentum grows with 2 tie-ups now. DHL and Uber looking to pick these semi-trucks. So DHL confirmed actually receipt of the first Tesla Semi in North America, and they plan to expand its fleet to more than 150 trucks, believe it or not. DHL reports the Semi is exceeding expectations, and it's averaging, Randy, 1.7 kilowatt hour per mile, and over 3,000 miles have been done in testing so far. The truck is running daily 100-mile California loops with a 500-mile max range and weekly charging cycles. DHL expects additional semi-truck deliveries starting in 26, so very close. Elon also confirmed volume production. He's confirmed this before, but hopefully this time it's true. He confirmed volume production for the Semi is going to begin next year, with European expansion also planned, and Tesla revealed updated Semi design. So the new Semi is going to have over 500 miles of range, faster charging, and 1 to 2 megawatt charging support. That's crazy. That's really good. And you got to have a big battery for that. Tesla also announced, Joey, collaboration with Uber Freight, which will also integrate the Tesla Semi into onboarding and fleet operations. Uber sees rising truck demand for EV adoption due to the cost savings, of course, and the reliability advantages. I don't know about those reliability advantages in the more north, especially during winter.
Yeah. I mean, we talk about the infrastructure obviously still needing to be upgraded. I mean, here's another short on the TQ, guys. I know you can't see it on the screen right there. So we're at a 1-to-1 roughly right now, heading into 56.02s. I was going to see if we can get 56s, but to add to your point, Sharif, I think it's great for some of these companies. Think about how much some of these ICE engines vehicles cost just from a fueling standpoint. Yeah. So that's going to help with your margins there because you're not going to be spending as much on fuel, obviously. Exactly. And the range is fantastic as well too. So that's what you want to see. It's just the AI the charging infrastructure needs to be amplified, and you're going to have to see more of that north of kind of wherever the general populace is here in Canada, and continue to kind of just build that north of 11.
What I'm concerned with is when you load these trucks. Have you heard about the F-150, the joke about the F-150? So let's just say it has, I'm just giving you an E number, okay, 250 miles of range. Load it up. It's like 60 or 70. I'm exaggerating for effect, obviously, but the point is it cuts it down substantially. So what I don't know is that 500-mile goal, is that loaded? And if it's loaded, how much is it loaded with?
Exactly.
Because I don't know.
From the capacity standpoint, how much is in that freight. Exactly. That's a big factor as well, too, because it may not be as, so kind of just to go against the point that I made, so if you're too heavy, if your load is substantial, then you can cut your mileage in half.
Well, that's the thing, right? So we need to see a real world reports. All right. Another development in the saga of Warner Brothers, Netflix, Paramount, Skydance. This is really interesting stuff. We're going to take more of a Paramount Skydance angle to this than Netflix today, so let's talk about this. So as we know, Paramount Skydance launched an 11th hour hostile bid valued at $1.084 billion after months, I should say, of frustration over what Warner Brothers called lack of engagement. Apparently, according to Paramount Skydance, that's not true. The filing showed a detailed timeline of CEO David Ellison repeatedly seeking discussions with Warner Brother Discovery CEO David Zaslav, most of which were ignored or delayed. Paramount claims its sweetened offers were dismissed without material dialogue, triggering, of course, the decision to bypass the board altogether and to go hostile vis-a-vis shareholders. So here's the breakdown in communications that's being alleged by Paramount Skydance. They're saying earlier outreach between the two CEOs, which included a November 24th dinner, suggested momentum. But concerns started arising from the board at WBD, who raised concerns over Ellison's family's financial backstop and the regulatory exposure that they would be faced with the regulator. And after Paramount raised its bid to about $30 a share, Ellison sent multiple unanswered texts to Zazie, even adding a personal appeal between them. I guess they had dinner and they knew each other. Hours later, Paramount Skydance found out via the media that WBD had entered into exclusive talks with Netflix. And now with respect to some of the concerns that Warner Brothers Discovery had about financing, et cetera, as well as regulatory exposure, the Ellison family provided a full financial backstop, which they say is reinforced. Affinity Partners, which is Jared Kushner's fund, is backing them. Middle Eastern sovereign wealth funds. This article doesn't say which one. I'm assuming the Saudis and the Emiratis and the Qataris probably throwing their hat into that ring. And a governance structure that was designed to avoid scrutiny. And they also took Tencent off. Apparently Tencent, the Chinese company, was going to be part of this conglomerate to finance, and they removed them entirely so that they wouldn't have problems with the regulator being Chinese and whatever. Ellison asserts that regulatory approval would have actually been faster for Paramount than would have been the case for Netflix. His assertion, not fact. Paramount's tender offer is open for 20 business days and can be extended. WBD, though, must formally respond, Joey, within 10 days, but has not changed its Netflix recommendation yet. Another development in the saga. What do you make of this?
It's very, very interesting. I wrote something in the chat. You can go and see it there. Oh man, that is, yeah, I didn't, dude. I barely touched it. I barely touched that twice today. No, man, that's not fair. We were short up here, and then I by accidentally hit that flat, and so we got to move that here. I got all out. Oh man,
the Katina man is all out of the queues, by the way, guys. He's short TQs.
Yeah, Katina man, me too, brother. I was short TQs at 56.16. What you got? Oh, you don't have your. All right. So, anyways, yeah, man, I accidentally hit it once again. Some big time moves. But as for what's going on with Paramount Skydance, it's gonna get. It seems like it's getting messy, and it's probably gonna get even more messy before things start to clear up. That's all I really have to say, because I was just looking at this trade, and then I hit the flatten key, and then I lost my train of thought.
I'm sorry, brother.
Yeah,
it's all good. There's the next trade.
Bro, no, I did it twice today. It's the second time that I did that. Disastrous.
Before we go to Adira for her take on the story, guys, OCG into the day's high right now. I think it's like 8 mid-40s. It looks like it's accumulating here for a $0.5 break. It is now up 210%. What a great hold off 5.5 and into 8, almost 8.5 now. Be careful with this one. Support possibly at 7.5 now that we've cleared it by $1. All right, Adira, give us your take on Paramount Skydance Netflix.
So it's funny because I actually agree with the PSKY crew on one side of things, in that I do think that they are much more likely to get through regulators. 100% I agree with that. And then also, on the contrary, or I guess on the flip of this, you've got WBD saying, oh, well, we think it'll be easier to get through Netflix with regulators. I think that's a ridiculous argument. They clearly want Netflix for other reasons, that's fine. But don't make us think you really think that you have a better shot with NFLX from a regulatory perspective. You cannot possibly believe that. No, what I think is just wild here and kind of funny in a weird way is David Ellison texting David Zaslav, or Zazzy, as Sharif just called him, and like, hey, take our deal, please take our deal. Never mind. Speaking of texting, I also heard the Wall Street Journal reporting that apparently David Ellison's father, Larry, notably of Oracle fame, apparently he contacted Trump, according to this WSJ report, and was like, hey, maybe consider the regulatory issues with Netflix and the antitrust issues here with Netflix, right? So it's the amount of ex parte communications within this deal is kind of staggering. Honestly, though, like I said, I'm going to go back to this analogy. This will forever remind me of the MTSR attempts here at an acquisition in that eventual deal. So again, and just to clarify for those who don't know what I'm talking about, so Metsera was basically, it's a pharma company. We had both Pfizer and Novo Nordisk wanting a piece of Metsera. Pfizer was a bit more aggressive initially in terms of trying to force these offers on Metsera, but Novo Nordisk came at it with a better deal. And then the judges also agree, like, hey, Pfizer, you can't say it's against the rules just because Novo had a better offer than you. Then we get some regulators involved saying, hey, Novo, you're going to have a tough time. And then Metsera ends up going with Pfizer. So either way, I think regulators are going to end up settling this. Long story short, I find these updates to be pretty entertaining. And I'm eating my popcorn, ready to see what happens next.
Thank you very much for that. Let's go on to the next story. Intel taps Tata Electronics to build an India semiconductor plant. So Intel, yeah, barely negative on the day, down 0.4. I think this is a good headline. We'll see what this one has to say. So Intel has signed a memorandum of understanding with Tata Electronics to explore manufacturing and packaging Intel products in India. The partnership will support India's strategic goal, of course, of reducing their own dependence on Chinese imports, where the majority of these chips are made. Intel views the deal sort of as an on-ramp to rapidly expand the PC and AI offerings that they have in India, one of the world's obviously fastest growing technology economies. Intel and Tata will also explore scaling AI PC platforms, which are going to be tailored for Indian consumers as well as businesses. Intel CEO Lip-Bu called India a tremendous opportunity, pointing, of course, to the surging PC adoption, Joey, and the rapid enterprise AI deployment across the country. We've said this many, many times. India is a burgeoning economy right now that everybody seems to want to get into.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I just changed my keys, actually, to be honest with you. So I'm no longer F4 on the flat, brother. I had to get rid of that. Yeah, because yeah, that's it. As for what we got going on here, let me pull it up and see what.
Open is taken off, by the way.
Open AI.
Open door.
Open door, yeah, let's take a look at that. I mean, there was the TQs. Primary target was going to be around that 56, so we did get all out right over there. And then we're trading 255.94. So yeah, other than that, Sharif, I was working on something
okay,
here.
Brother, no worry. We're going on the next story.
Exactly. Let's head over there.
ASML faces renewed scrutiny over China shipments. Oh boy, can't be selling those big boy machines to the Chinese, at least not the good ones. Anyway, so reports indicate ASML sold advanced chip making parts to subsidiaries of China Electronics Technology Group, which is a state-owned entity, and of course has ties to the Chinese military. U.S. sanctions have already restricted China's access to advanced chip technologies with companies like Nvidia, Intel, Micron, as well as ASML. Despite the fact they're not American, they're blocked on national security grounds. ASML was also linked to shipments to the Shenzhen International Quantum Academy and chip makers SMIC, not SMCI, SMIC, and Qingdao. China remains ASML's largest market in 24, accounting for about 36% of their sales, which is about 11.6 billion euros. We're going to pause for the story for a second. Not anymore, okay. ASML's market cap stands at about 437 billion, and ASML is up 62% year to date, significantly outperforming the PHLS semiconductor, which is up 48%. Goldman Sachs as well says ASML could add another EUV, extreme ultraviolet lithography chip making tool to its 2030 target due to, of course, the AI demand that's insatiable at the moment, and they remain the only company globally capable of producing these EUV lithography systems, and they have. I was going to say 104 EVU systems expected to be delivered this year. Revenue visibility for the company, Joey, remains strong with deepening partnerships in South Korea and sustained demand from hyperscalers and global foundries.
Yeah, I remember for quite some time we were talking about how ASML essentially runs a monopoly in the space because there's not very many of these machines. This stock has been performing extraordinarily from those April lows. You're up 96%, and you have to take into consideration this was a $575 name, now trading around $1,100. You put in a new all-time high last week, Sharif, around $1,137. At this pace, I think it's going to breach and it's going to continue on that path for sure.
All right, WVE breaking out, guys. This was the monster mover from a few days ago. It's taking out levels 21.25. Great move off that. Let's just say that volume weighted average price hold at 19.5. This is the price action on WVE, guys. It is not giving it up. That was the breakout that we were looking at yesterday in the pre-market, continued in the aftermarket, and it is all gas. No freaking breaks right now on WVE, up 15%. The fact that this didn't give back almost any of that move from yesterday is a glowing endorsement, I think, for a multi-day runner. We're going to have to leave WVE on the side chart for a while here. Good look for them. Let's go on to the next story. So this is funny. Oh, man, did you see President Trump point out the small cars that he was seeing in Europe and how he liked them and stuff like that? And then he told his transportation secretary to make them legal because I guess they weren't street legal or whatever.
What do you mean? We have the smart car.
The Topolino, my boy. You want to
Topolino.
pick? Can you pull up this picture while I read it?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's called the Fiat Topolino, Joey.
This thing's probably tiny.
It's tiny.
There's no way it can't be smaller than the smart
bro,
car.
it's small. I don't know if it's a pickup truck, Joey. All right, so Stellantis confirmed it will bring the Fiat Topolino, an all-electric micro vehicle, to the U.S. Though no launch date has been announced, Fiat CEO Oliver Francois said more details will come in 2026. The Topolino, guys, is categorized as a quadricycle, not a car. It has about 28 miles per hour top speed and about a 50-mile range. Joey, show him real quick.
No way.
You think this car does well in the U.S., man? I don't know, man. The smart car did okay.
It's a smart car, man. I mean, why not? Like, think about how many people would just grab this to rip around their yard and stuff like that.
No, that's going to be on the street.
You shouldn't even need a street car. I think at some point you shouldn't even need a driver's license for some of these things. Just allow people to buy, because I don't know what kind of motor it is. Is it electric?
No, put a robo-taxi on that, man.
A robo? Yeah, exactly. There you go, man. Just have this running around Canada's
Wonderland. It looks like a golf car, bro. What's the difference between that and
but you want to know the difference is that this has a full roof and the golf car doesn't. It doesn't at the end. Look, it has ropes as it. No way.
It's so dope.
Obviously that's hilarious. Yeah,
that's not gonna work in Toronto, bro. You need doors. It gets cold here.
Yeah, in the wintertime.
Oh, that one has doors.
Yeah, this
there,
one has
Joey.
doors.
That one has doors right there. Okay.
But I think this is comical.
That's more comical.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Topolino, bro. Man. All right, I like what the comments you guys are dropping there. Always makes me chuckle. Let's go on to the next story. I don't want to talk about CVS Health. What do we talk about here? Yeah, I think that's it, Joey. The other stories here, Criminal, which is obviously CRML, a 50-50 joint venture with a Romanian state-owned to build and operate rare earth processing inside the EU. These are not big names, as well as CVS with 2026 profit outlooks, signals a turnaround and momentum. These are not names we often talk about, so I think we'll forego those. And we'll look at some trades over here with OCG really breaking out, guys, into 896. It's all gas, no brakes right now on OCG, and it held beautifully on that 5-minute candle that closed green, the one prior, the one that we're in right now. This candle, the 145 candle, cleanly holding off the 10 EMA on the 5, almost to a T, and then rockets right back up to make that 896 high a day. Let's see if this current candle here holds trend. Prior bar low on this one is 806. We're showing 834. This could be a $9 break and a move into $10. Keep your eye here on OCG. What a fantastic hold off VWAP, Joey, and a move into 9. This one looks like it may hit double digits on the day with that 10 not too far away.
Absolutely, man. Let's pull up the daily here, and there goes the Nasdaq. I mean, we did get out of that trade, not intentionally whatsoever. And there you go. You just put in a new high of the day, 5-minute hammer candle. So we take some out right there at 56.04. We were short at 16s, and then it did dump to 95s, which would have been past, would have exceeded our primary target. But at the end of the day, we'll sit on our hands. Man, this market is just, the channel trading right now is insane as it continuously just grinds higher and higher. Okay, there's some strong momentum and volume starting to come in here, Sharif. Yes, so maybe that's going to be the move. But look at NVDA on today's session. Okay. If you want to talk about a hot mess. I mean, hey, you were trading within a $1.50 range throughout the whole day, a little bit less than that. We're going to call this peak at 185.37, and then you have the lows at 183.92. So it's not much whatsoever, guys. A choppy price action, and we got no continuation from yesterday's volume spikes, and I thought we would see a little bit more. Let's head over to the daily and just kind of gauge at what we got going on. So essentially what we got, and the options chain is really important. Obviously, we talk about that quite some time. Substantial size. We're going to pull that actually up right now before we do look at the daily and get more in depth on that. So as for NVDA, supply zone, being a little bit of a pain in the side here, December 12th, and there it is, 185. That's been our high of the day, 185, 118,000. So times this number by 100, roughly.
That's sick. That's actually sick. Yeah, I like that one.
Why?
Yeah, send me
Why,
that.
Ray?
That's pretty cool.
We look.
man.
Do we even have a lower body on that? We don't
That's
even have a
insane.
lower body,
No
Joey.
lower body. Oh,
We're cut. Oh, come on,
That is
Ram.
Ram,
Why are you doing
that's
dirty like that,
Yeah,
Ram?
the look on your face is crazy.
I like how you're driving.
I like how
buddy.
I'm driving too, man.
I'm chilling.
I get mad car sick. I don't know about you, so I have to drive wherever I go. But no, that is.
Oh my
that is-
God.
that
Would
is
you buy a
comical.
Topolino, Joey?
Of course.
Yeah?
Absolutely. Why not?
100%.
Yeah. Would you?
No.
Why
No,
not?
no.
Would you buy a Vespa?
It doesn't have air suspension.
Would you?
Play it, bro. I don't know what
Would
to
you buy
say.
a Vespa?
If I was a different person in a different country, yeah.
So if
I don't
so
think
no,
it works
it's
out
just a
here, Joey.
different
Like
person.
it doesn't work in Canada, bro.
You can rip that around the city. Hey, you could be like the Uber drivers and just rip and not follow the rules or anything.
Just go on the sidewalks, want to
But
run
listen,
everybody
man,
over.
I like it. Personally, I know it drives a lot of people nuts, but I like that all these people on the mopeds and
No, I
everything.
don't,
like that.
bro. I'm
And
trying to walk in
I'm
peace,
saying
bro.
I do.
I know, but why?
Because it adds flavor to
You
the,
like
to
that,
the
eh?
city.
You like
yeah,
likes
it
the
does.
flavor.
That's the, you know what I mean? It's not just vehicles going around and stuff like that. That's,
You look happy. I look annoyed in
I'm
that picture,
super-
which is
well,
probably
I'm
what-
driving,
Yeah,
right?
fair enough.
So it's fair enough to
All
be
right,
happy.
guys.
That's fine.
I want to bring your attention to a small cap gapper that is halted up. Assassino LGHL. Nice breakout there, up 47.33%, halted at 638. This one closed out yesterday at about 432, so we're about $2 off yesterday's closing print. It did all but nothing, guys, all but nothing all morning, and then the volume started coming in at around 110, with the real volume coming in, though, this candle over here, 125, so it's a recent mover. LGHL halted to the upside. I want to give you WVE as well. WVE is that one I just gave you guys not that long ago. It was a holdover from yesterday, and it is finding more strength today, clearing the pre-market highs, clearing yesterday's highs. It is now trading at the day high, 2133. It's up 15% after being up 10,011% yesterday. No, I have no idea. This was up 150% yesterday and pretty much closed at the high. So good look here for WVE. Keep your eyes on those two bad boys here, Joey, as we're closing in the show. With
Yeah, we're closing 20 seconds. Yeah, I mean, 20 seconds. Yeah, I mean, no, man, guys, it's been a pretty good session. I mean, we've been trading the TQs. We were trading SMR. What else did we trade? NVDA, we took a small trade on that one earlier in the morning. So it's been fantastic stuff. I hope everyone's had a solid one. I mean, here it goes. Tesla's starting to come back in a little bit. It just you just had to be patient enough and wait for that precise entry, and sure enough, you would have got it. It takes multiple attempts, but obviously stick to your rules, guys. I like to use a 3 at bat, 3 attempts, just due to it helps with precision. You get better at understanding the price action, and you find those primary entries in which you're looking for.
All right, guys. We'll see you guys, everybody, tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel. I'll see everybody at the big desk shortly.